Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and welcome into the real estate and construction section of our Plug and Play Winter Summit 2020. My name is Simon Aboud, and as an architect by trade, passionate about our built environment, I'm also part of the team leading the real estate and construction vertical at Plug and Play, and I'm delighted to be your MC during today's session. In case you have missed it, our Winter Summit is divided into 4 days, tackling a total of 8 different industries. And I would like to do a special shout out to our Internet of Things team for having kicked off our first day earlier this morning with some very interesting stuff. And in case you'd like to know more about our summit, feel free to scan the QR code on the screen right now or simply follow our hashtag PNP Winter 2020 on the different social media platforms. So today's program will be divided into 5 parts. First, we'll kick off the day with an exclusive talk around the crucial topic of inclusivity and equality, particularly when talking about women leadership in real estate and construction. Second, we will dive into 3 sequences during which we'll offer the floor to our real estate and construction batch 6 startups graduating today from our accelerator program. And accordingly, this part will be divided between startup pitches and roundtables. Third, we will be having the presentation of a success story from one of our ecosystem startup, Neurobotx, and they will tell us more about the latest project as well as how their interaction with Plug and Play was pivotal in order to land collaboration opportunities with some of our corporate partners. From there, we'll wrap up today's session with the much-awaited Startup Award. And finally, we will use the platform called Remo to kick off the Winter Summit Day 1 networking session, which will be open to all of our IoT and real estate startup, as well as you guys. As you all know, our summit is Plug and Play's most popular and important event. And I would like to take a moment to thank all of our Smart Cities team members in the US, Europe, Asia, and Africa, who are engaging with our real estate and construction vertical on a daily basis, as it is thanks to them all that we are able to provide a world-class service to both our forward-looking corporate partners, as well as some of the best startups on the prop tech and construction tech side. The second big shout out I would like to make on the behalf of our team is to our 15 mentors, industry thought leaders and friends, for offering your much appreciated time to discuss and brainstorm with our inspiring startups and bringing even more value to our program. And finally, I'm really honored to announce that Jeff Arriaga and Gary Dallabo have been appointed as our new Real Estate and Construction Advisory Board members. For some background, Jeff is the Vice Chairman of Newmark Knight Frank, and Gary is a next sustainability executive at eBay and currently managing partner at Navitas Capital. Both Jeff and Gary have been fervent ambassadors, pushing the real estate and the built environment to new boundaries, particularly in the Bay Area. And among their many hats, both of them are also co-founders of Urban Community, an initiative redefining urbanism and community equity while pragmatically experimenting smart city and urban renewal projects, with their next one actually being a $300 million regeneration project in downtown San Jose in Silicon Valley. Before transitioning into our panel, I would like to give a brief overview of our real estate and construction industries in relation to innovation. And you might all remember that before 2020 and before the pandemic, innovation in the space was already quite lagging. And despite having a lot of startup products out there, the market was not particularly mature enough, nor in a hurry to try new things. And this could be understood as we were going uphill on the real estate cycle. Obviously, with COVID-19 pandemic, it is needless to remind everyone that a lot of businesses around the world shut down, along with the global economy, and that real estate and construction were hit very badly, and this is because of the lack of resiliency and readiness to change those industries actually had. And this is where Plug and Play places itself, in order to support the 400 corporate partners that we have from around the globe and from all industries to serve the next wave of competition in their respective markets. And just as Darwin rightly said, it is only the most adaptable and resilient entities which will strive. And our Winter Summit this week is here to inform you about the future trends and introduce you to some of the most inspiring startups leading those trends and offering some of the best solutions to make your company more competitive, whether you are in the real estate or the broader AEC industry. Now, starting with innovation in the real estate space. We have noticed that despite the pandemic, investments have been reaching almost all-time high in terms of total value invested. However, we can see as well that this capital has been invested in fewer companies, from around 1,000 startups per year for the past 2 years to around 800 in 2020. What is also interesting is that despite having startups located in North America, Europe, or Asia receiving most of investors' money, there is a recent breakthrough with Latin American PropTech startups, which are slowly gaining the interest of both VCs and the local markets. Now, I have listed for you some of the top 5 promising trends COVID-19 has accelerated and that we believe will transform the industry on the short to medium term. First, we have the remote access control tools, which help provide employees a touchless and safe experience when re-entering workplace. Second, with some of the biggest companies around the world offering working from home forever policies, we're excited to see how the space as a service model is going to evolve in order to achieve a city as a campus vision, which would be the ability to book a place anywhere in the city for a particular job to be done, or GTBD, just like Professor Christiansen writes in his book. Third, with uncertainty being more present than ever, most building tenants are certain that long leases will not be compatible with the new reality. And accordingly, property owners will have to come up with resilient ways to adapt to rapid tenant turnovers. And consequently, we are seeing the rise of solutions optimizing the speed and adaptability of tenant improvements implementations. Fourth, in an era where corporate real estate and HR teams have to redefine the new company's workplace policies, one part of the equation will be to gather quantitative data of the actual environment. So basically, occupancy levels and air quality, which until now was not really available. So here, the use of different types of sensor will be needed. And finally, with most of our human contact being constrained, we're seeing the rise of end-to-end platforms offering a unique and smooth asset buying or renting experience, totally online for clients, ranging from property finding, virtual tours, interactive interior design, contract management and signing, all the way to transaction management, centralizing all of the relevant stakeholders into one place. On the construction side, one of the less mature industries when it comes to innovation adoption, we're seeing that the pandemic has boosted investment in the most promising startups. This will be explained because of the catastrophic scenarios we witnessed earlier this year, with most of the construction sites from around the world being either shut down or totally paralyzed. And I would like to believe here that this was an awakening call for the AEC sector as a whole, and that startups have a very big role to play when it comes to helping the industry recover. In terms of the repartition of the capital, similarly to the real estate tech, most of the funding is divided between North America and Europe, with a light but emerging interest in the Asian startups. Now, moving towards the most exciting trends in construction tech that we will be monitoring closely in the near future. We will have first the remote progress monitoring, particularly to solutions using computer vision and the comparison of as-built footages alongside existing BIM models. Second, we have witnessed a rise in interest for workers' health and safety technology, PPE, in an industry infamous for its work condition, as well as for the shortage of skilled labor. So being able to take care of a workforce is indeed a key metric for employee retention. Third, however, in some cases, we're seeing that the emergence of robotic solutions automatizing repetitive construction tasks such as plastering, painting, marking, drilling, etc. is also emerging. Fourth, design for manufacturing, operation, and recycling tools. So industrialized construction or offsite construction for prefab or modular purposes will require companies who would like to move this way to adopt new ways of thinking and the use of new tools, making the whole process more predictable and controllable. And finally, similarly to real estate, we're also seeing the rise of end-to-end platforms for small to medium subcontractors or contractors focusing on home renovation or repairs. On the one hand, those platforms offer a smooth tool for clients to have an Amazon-like experience compared to the very painful reality. And on the other hand, of the professional side, it actually offers a simple way to process requests, track inventory, and progression alongside many other possible features. Now, as we just saw, 2020 has been a pivotal year for many reasons in the industry. However, an aspect we still have a long way to go is this topic of diversity and equality in terms of genders and ethnicity, which is actually a cause that us at Plug and Play strongly support. And I would like to leave you with a couple of numbers which actually speaks for themselves. In the construction industry in the United States of America, only 10% of the total workforce are women. Only 10% of the top management of those companies are women. Wages inequality for individuals of the same position can go up to 25% between a man and a woman. And even though low-skilled laborers are actually representing around 40 to 50% by ethnic minorities, those ethnic minorities only represent 18% of top management of those companies. On the commercial real estate side in the United States of America, women account for 35% of total workforce, but only 19% of top management of those companies. And when it comes to wages inequality, it is around 10% when it comes to salaries and up to 60% when it comes to bonuses. And when it comes to ethnic minorities representation in top management, it only accounts for 11%. And just keep in mind that those numbers are conservative. Even though a lot has been done, obviously, for the past centuries, we're very far from living in an equal world, and I firmly believe all of us today are fully aware of this. However, it has been proven that embracing diversity and equality at every level of a company hierarchy can be a source of greater and more sustainable workforce productivity at the end of the day, among the many other benefits. So I would like to urge everyone today to take a moment and think first about how your company is dealing internally with this kind of pressing issues. But second, I would like to advise everyone to self-respect on how you are influencing the balance at a personal level in a decade set for change. And on that note, let's move into our panel discussion, which will be tackling the topic of women leadership in real estate and construction. And accordingly, I am delighted to be moderating an esteemed international panel consisting of two inspiring leaders coming from the real estate and the construction sector. First, I would like to introduce Sarah Angus, who is a director of construction and design services at Starbucks. And with 23 years of experience in the construction sector, Sarah was previously leading teams building for tech clients such as Amazon, Boeing, Tableau, among others. And in addition to that, Sarah was also teaching at the University of Washington in the construction management management program for more than 13 years and is still actively involved. And therefore, for a small anecdote here, a month ago, I had personally had the pleasure to watch Sarah give a fascinating talk on the new global face of leadership as one of the keynote speakers of the latest Women in Construction World Series held virtually this year. So on that note, Sarah, thank you for joining us from the US West Coast.
Of course.
And completing our panel is our second speaker, Alison English, who is currently holding the position of Deputy CEO at Leaseman. For those who are not really familiar with Leaseman, those guys are actually the the one workplace industry leaders in terms of qualitative data gathering when it comes to the workplace employee experience. And now, obviously, working from home experience as well, which is actually a crucial piece of information all companies should take into consideration when creating new strategies to keep those workforce happy and productive, especially in those trying times. And here, Alison and I previously met at the Real Innovation Academy, executive workshop on future of workplace, organized by two thought leaders, Dror Polag and Anthony Slammers. And I have to say that I was actually particularly inspired by how engaged she was in raising awareness inside the real estate executive community that we were in about how different aspects of the building in order to have a successful building and successful experience. So Alison, thank you so much for joining all the way from the UK. And I have to say that it's really a pleasure to have you both tonight on the panel, as I think both of you really hold unique key roles in respective industries. So thank you for your time. And maybe just before jumping into the questions and the discussion, a small note for our audience tonight. Thanks again for joining as well. And feel free to write down all of your questions that you might have in the Q&A box. And your question, we will try to answer them towards the end of the panel tonight. So yeah, that's basically it. And I'd love to dive into the discussion today by starting to have your view on where the market is today in terms of gender equality in both of your industries. Maybe I'd love to start with Sarah, and I'd love to understand maybe on the construction industry and the broader AEC side of things.
Sure. So we've got a long ways to go for gender equality in construction. I mean, the numbers sort of speak for themselves as far as how many women are actually in the industry. And I would say there's wild opportunity for women. It's a lot of it is having the knowledge that the industry even exists for women. So as I look at my teaching experience and seeing, you know, I've got juniors this year, 63 of them, and I think we've have 8 women in the program. And much of that is just, you know, educational outreach, allowing women to know that this opportunities are out there. And that's when you talk about management, but then also in the trades, right. We have a huge trades problem. Our trades are the age demographics are actually, if you're paying attention, is really scary. We're going to have a lot of people exiting the industry soon. And so really, like the next 5 years, if you're interested in a trade, this is the time to get in, because we are going to have a shortage of labor imminently. And so women getting into the trades and really there's going to be wild opportunity for people to be into the trades.
Right, and maybe something I'd be interesting on that side of things. Have you seen some kind of evolution in your workforce of having more and more women coming?
Yes, for sure. You know, when I started, what feels like a million years ago, I was one. I think there were 3 other women this was Skanska or Baugh Construction here in Seattle. And now, I mean, my team currently at Starbucks is more than 50% women. And I've got a pretty large team. And I see even, you know, at construction companies locally and then also around the nation, there are definitely more and more women in leadership positions. It's been slow, and there's more opportunity for more women at the table, but certainly it's gotten better.
Okay, great. And maybe I'll jump on your side, Alison. How have you been this kind of gender equality and in the workforce you've been monitoring around the world with your clients?
Yeah, I mean, it varies obviously by client, but a lot of what we see in corporate real estate in general is a lot of what Sarah mentioned in construction. It is primarily male dominated. All of your stats showed that and speak to that. So it is an ongoing challenge. I mean, what we look at in our survey, you know, we ask for people's gender and we ask for different age bands. So we're able to dissect that on a client level and let them understand. Does the experience for their employees vary by gender? Does it vary if you're part-time or full-time? Does it vary by age? So we were able to dig into that in some of the data. Actually, in the latest homeworking data that we've assessed, we have actually seen that women are having a slightly better experience with this transition to homeworking. We've looked at about 145,000 people who've responded. Our Chief Insights and Research Officer, who happens to be female, has a theory that it has to do with women's ability to multitask. I'll let her talk more on that than mine. But that is something interesting we are seeing in the data, that this mass transition to home working does seem to be women are experiencing it slightly better than men are.
Interesting. Fair enough. And maybe going back to your point, Sarah, about education, and unfortunately, I've heard a lot of talks about when actually should that awareness that construction is accessible and it is not a place for men or a man-dominated like. When do you think that this awareness should happen? Because obviously sometimes they're saying university is already too late.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Too late at university.
Right.
I think of just, it starts as young as it possibly can. I have 3 daughters. They come to job sites with me all the time. We have hard hats for them. My husband's also in the industry, so they've marched all over Seattle. I will say, truthfully, we just need to have a different conversation when we're talking about gender bias at a very young age. Little boys and trucks, no. Little girls in trucks, so changing the conversation from a very young age is how we change the perception of a male-dominated industry. So as we are raising our children to think of, everything is for everyone, and so there shouldn't be tracks. And so that's where I think it needs to begin. And certainly if it's not going to be brought up in elementary school, I go to a lot of high schools around town, just again, trying to build awareness around there's engineering, there's also construction, there's also these other things that are within the educational system that are, again, super fun for women, for anybody.
I totally agree. And I mean, going back to your point where, I guess role model is definitely the key thing, and being able to find that role model early on is, it's game changer for those young generations. And maybe continuing on that and how you guys are seeing the industry is, well, obviously you guys definitely have great roles of leadership in both of your companies. And you have a lot of weight when you talk both to your staff, but also to your clients. And I was wondering, how are you doing it internally to actually make sure that this gender neutrality points actually gets reinforced in your staff, but also with your clients? Maybe Sarah, Addison, if you'd like to start, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, sure. Internally, I'm lucky to have joined Leaseman as an organization that was very gender balanced when I joined, and we've continued on that. So I think internally, it's I almost don't have to reinforce it because there are other women in leadership. Our leadership team is pretty much split 50-50. Our staff overall is, so we're very gender diverse, we're very age diverse, background. Like I didn't actually come from the real estate industry. But we've got plenty of people on the team who do. So we've got a diversity of thought and lots of kind of diversity within the team, which I think, regardless of the role you're taking in a company, that's something that's important to look for in that organization. Is that something that they value? Is that a place where you can bring kind of your perspective and your different experience to, regardless of work experience, all of our experiences are different. But I think externally, one of the things we're doing is paying attention to some of the events and some of the stages that we're invited to speak on, albeit virtually now, and making sure those are balanced in some way. So my boss was asked to speak on a panel a couple of months ago. And when he looked at the other panel members, he said, and these are his words, he said, it's pale, male, and stale. It was all older men and who had they all had great things to say for sure. But he said, like, I don't want to be a part of that panel. I don't think it's right because we don't have enough representation. So he swapped out, and I brought a very different perspective to the panel, but I joined that panel instead. So we do kind of audit events that we're doing and things that we partake in and participate in for those kind of those areas, looking at gender balance to make sure that everyone's voices are heard. It's not just representative of one particular group.
Of course, and maybe a quick question on that is, I mean, obviously with your surveys and you shed light on a lot of realities that maybe employers have no idea about, and gender, the way that a man or a woman feel a space that are in general designed for men references. And in general, like when you give back the information of a survey, what type of reaction do you get from the leadership of the other companies? Were they aware or?
Some more so than others. I think it depends on kind of who within the organization that we're talking to. Sometimes there are lots of surprises. Sometimes the data validates what they thought, but it helps them make concrete decisions about going forward. Oftentimes it uncovers things they had no idea existed. Because of the way we're collecting the information, it's confidential, it's anonymized, but we can dig into certain areas, and like you said, we can explore gender more and see is there a different impact in productivity based on gender. So we can start to look at that information more and help clients understand that, and then that ultimately helps them make better decisions to support their workforce for everyone. So yeah, it's something that's definitely very important and something we work really hard to do consistently.
Yeah, no, that's great. And what about you, Sarah, on the construction side at Starbucks?
Yeah, so Starbucks is, I can't say, I have to agree with Allison. We're very, there are a ton of women in even in the construction side of things at Starbucks. Design, certainly, we have more women than men. And so, Starbucks internally, there's, I feel like we have a pretty stable, so many voices from different ethnicities and gender. As we think about, how does Starbucks interact with the industry and our supplier base and our general contractor base, that's where we can really affect change. And so I'm leading a team to ensure that we are sort of casting the net wider. And so, right. and qualifying general contractors that may not have qualified in the past, and then working with them through negotiated process to get them in the door. So where we can affect changes, not necessarily internally, but externally within the GC base, and then clicking down into our subcontractor base as well. We don't have a full understanding of who we're all working with because we only contract with their GCs. But when you click down into, well, what are our subcontractor base? How much diversity do we have there? As we're uncovering things, we're finding that we do, but we certainly could do better. So trying to find, again, that stable and do reach outs within each of the communities in the States to see who's out there and how can we bring them into the sort of ecosystem of construction at Starbucks.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. I mean, I had no clue about how Starbucks is working internally, so it's good to hear that at least both of your leading companies, I mean, they're aware, and yeah, that's great they are. And maybe a question here that I had was, I mean, obviously, I mean, maybe on your side, Sarah, you worked in construction before in GCs, and so you know how the whole drill it is, especially when it comes to construction, the construction site. Yes. So I was wondering, I mean, what could be done maybe on that side to really try to do a change? Because from what I've heard, I mean, on a couple of panels, we've heard that, okay, women wants to go to site, for example, the one that are interested in. The problem is that the PPE equipment is designed for men. So yes. Basically, there is a lot of barriers to entry to actually get there, and barriers to entry that maybe a lot of people are not aware. So I was wondering what could be done to...
Oh, there's so many things that could be done. PPE as an indicative of, and truly, like, I've never had a safety vest that's fit me correctly. I mean, I think certainly PPE could be changed. There's also just the flexibility within your job. Right. So for women in particular, I believe, because we tend to bear the brunt of the home life, flexibility is required. Right. And so while in the trades, that's very hard because 6 to 3 is the schedule. It's very hard to be flexible around the working hours there. However, what if there was some sort of child care subsidies? What if there were things that we could provide for women in order to make it easier to go to a job site? I think there's certainly that. And then in the management side, it is truly flexibility in your hours, and making sure that the employers are providing flexibility. And general contractors, there is a myth that you have to be on site in order for work to be done if you're on the project management side, and it is so wrong. There are things that can be done remotely. There are things that you can do to make sure that you are providing a flexible workspace for the people who are running the projects.
And maybe going back to that, and it's a open question to both Alyssa and Sarah, which is, again, I mean, there is so many bias against about workplace in general, and a lot of information. There is not enough awareness as per how workplace in general is not really designed for women in general, or taking women as some kind of reference. Our workplace is definitely not a gender neutral place. So what I'd love to hear is per what could, like, it goes back maybe to the same point, but what could be done within our workplace for let's say, okay, you have a lot of executives maybe on the call today, and maybe head of corporate real estate, and they have to redefine their strategies. Obviously, I mean, most of their workforce may be at home for the moment, and obviously maybe part will have to come back. However, we talk a lot about experience as per how to become more productive, etc. But I think there is the big, at the end of the day, productivity is one thing, but also the fact that the already at the reference, the workplace is not for everyone, also has to come back to play. So I was wondering, like, what could be the first step for any of those executives wanting to say, okay, you know what, I didn't know about this, let's change tomorrow.
That's a good one.
I don't know.
Right. The first thing to me they should be doing is understanding what their workforce needs. You can't build a strategy based on what you think people want. You have to understand what it is that the people working for them, the people who actually do the work in the organization need. What infrastructure do they need to be productive? And I don't necessarily mean, do they need a bigger monitor or something like that? But exactly, Sarah, as you said, with flexibility, I think that what you said of the construction world has historically been very true of the office world. You need to be at your desk by 8. You need to leave there at 5, and you get a 1-hour lunch break. Which for some people works just fine, but for a lot of people, it doesn't. And people may need to start earlier. They may need to take a longer lunch. They may need to leave early and finish stuff up at the end of the day. Whereas I think everyone working from home now has been given that flexibility, whether employers wanted to or not. The reality is people have transitioned and kind of figured out how to make it work. And that's the vision, that's the plan we need going forward. Figuring out what works best so employees get their jobs done in a way that works for them, but also meets the business objectives of the organization. And then figuring out a plan within there for the best outcome for everybody.
And I guess, I mean, sorry, Sarah, you want to say something?
Oh, no, go for it.
No, I mean, to your point, Alison, this is where, I mean, obviously now with the future and the future of workplace, you need definitely 2 types of data. We're talking a lot about tech and all those sensors data that are, I mean, you get a lot of, quantitative data if you want, but on the other hand, you have all the qualitative data. And I think before all those 2 data were taken, I mean, every department might be having those data, but there was no conversation. And I think to your point, the only way to really understand how your workplace work, I mean, it's first the spatial type of data that you need through sensors, but also those surveys, just like Lisman is actually doing and leading the way with those kind of things to get to understand what your workforce actually wants. And again, I mean, here, you guys you have quite you have a lot of experience in both industries respectively. And I was wondering, what would be the top 3 advice or lessons learned you could say to all those I mean, future women leaders that are out there and that just need this kind of, role model to hear something from? Maybe Sarah, if you want to start.
Sure. Yeah. So I think first, find a mentor or mentors. And it doesn't need to be a formal thing, but I will say, and it can be my best and greatest mentor probably wouldn't say that he's my mentor, but he's my mentor and he's supported me through my entire career. And whenever I have a thing that I can't figure out or that I just don't know what to do, I always reach out and say, what would you do? Because those people are the ones that really can give you unbiased advice. And so, and having more than one or two or three, like get your network, build your tribe. And then I think, especially in construction, there is a trap for women to try to not be their authentic selves. And I think being your authentic self, you are bringing more value than you can possibly know. And so, so I think, you know, really showing up with who you are to the table, that's absolutely 100%. I know I struggled with that early in my career. And as I, you know, learned to just put those biases away and just be, I am who I am. I don't care that I don't look like any of you. I was much more successful. And then third, I think, and this is the hard one, it's be willing to do and take on things that you may or may not think that you can do. I will say in my career, every time I've made a step, it's usually into something that I'm scared and I didn't think that I would be able to do. And you can. It's just having that self-confidence to say, yeah, I can. And if I can't, I'll figure it out. So it's really just having, you know, facing the fear and taking on the new responsibilities. If given the opportunity, just take it.
Oh, very, very interesting. What about yourself, Addison? Any advice?
Yeah, to add to Sarah's point on that last one, when someone's giving you an opportunity, it's because maybe they're seeing something in you that you haven't yet seen in yourself. So I could not agree with that more. Because the same thing's happened to me a few times. I'm going, I'm just not sure that's a role I can do, or it seems, I haven't said that, but that's what my kind of internal head is saying. If someone else sees it and thinks you can do it, just shut up and go with it. You can figure it out as you go. But I think in addition, I mean, Sarah just made some amazing points. One of the things that I have found monumental in terms of my career is having a sponsor within the organization, someone who recognizes your potential. And this is, I mean, you can't really seek this person out. You've got to kind of find the right organization where you think you're going to have those connections. But that's someone who sees the potential in you, someone that you get on with, and they're willing to kind of take you under their wing and help bring you up in the organization. So typically that person would need to be a little bit more senior to try and kind of clear the path for you as needed. But that finding the right organization that has people like that in it, somewhere where you see that you can be, as Sarah said, you can be your authentic self. You can show up and bring all of yourself, but recognize that there are people there who are going to continue to support you, continue to help you with your development. They've got your best interest at heart. It's not just what have you done for me today. It's right, more of it's a less transactional piece. It's really more of a relationship where it's more of a partnership, more of a relationship, less kind of I come in, do a job and leave. You want to find a place where you think you can grow and develop with your career, and they're gonna give you the opportunity to do that. So yeah, I think at the interview stage, there's so much you can find out with asking, not even direct questions, but asking, you know, about what's the makeup of the leadership team. Talk to me about, you know, how did this person get into that role? You can really start to understand some of the dynamics of the organization just by kind of doing some easy investigation.
Yeah, but no, very interesting. I love the tips here at the interview level. I never thought of it, but it does reflect what you're going into. And it's interesting that both of you are talking about mentorship and sponsorship. And actually, the other day, I remember watching some kind of talk with the chief executive EMEA at ICOM, and what Lara Polini was saying is that there is it's great to have a mentorship, and basically she defined mentorship as someone to talk to, versus sponsorship, which is basically someone to talk about, who is going to talk about you. And I think this was super interesting because I never really made a difference, and I don't think a lot of people in general makes a difference, but it's a very good point. So no, I totally join you guys on that. Maybe last questions before moving on to the questions is, okay, obviously COVID-19 is here, a lot has changed, and I was wondering how do you see this big situation now influencing the future of this kind of gender equality, gender inequality? Maybe Sarah, if you'd like to start.
Sure. I think there's two things. First, employers have been forced to be flexible. And so flexibility means that women can enter into the work in a different way. And so I think that's great. And I don't see that, or my hope is that it doesn't go away when things go back to normal, or the new normal. The other thing is, I know for me personally, I'm able to cast a really much wider net than I was able to before. So when I have open positions on my team, in March, it would have been a Seattle-based position, and I never would have, and I would have had to hire from whatever I could find in Seattle. Now I can hire anywhere in the world. So because it doesn't matter where you live, I just need you to do the job. You might have to fly to Seattle when we can fly to Seattle eventually at some point, but I'm able to hire anywhere, which means the diverse candidates that I'm getting, it's so wonderful because I'm able to pull from such a different base. And so we're going to see, and I think many people are in the same position as I am. We're going to see more diverse candidates because we're not married to a specific workplace anymore.
Very good point. What about you, Addison?
Yeah, I think the initial news has been kind of a bit doom and gloom about how this has set women's gender equality, and particularly women in the workforce back, some have said decades, based on if both people are at home, someone needs to take care of childcare, or take that responsibility, Sarah, as you said. More often than not, typically that role falls to women, and so with some of the schools being closed and people having to homeschool, they're having to make difficult decisions. I am cautiously optimistic that it's not being set back decades, and I like what Sarah's saying, that I think in the future, as if we have a more flexible work profile, if organizations are technology will continue to develop, and if we can continue to bring a hybrid approach, perhaps with some travel as needed, but if it's primarily home-based, it does open up the opportunity to a lot of people who didn't live in mega cities and weren't going to live in mega cities before, but are equally as qualified, and perhaps as interested and available for the role. So I hope it does bring some of that, some more geospatial location, some of that location diversity, which then opens the door for more women who didn't have those opportunities before. So I'm optimistic that in the long run, it's going to be beneficial, but I think it's been trouble in the short run, and I don't know how long it'll take us to recover from that.
No, it's a very, both very interesting point, and to both of you, here, and when we talk about innovation in our field, they talk a lot about tech. Obviously, tech is a component that is needed, fair enough, but the behavior change, and which could be for a tool, but especially on the diversity and inclusion side, it's a cornerstone, and nothing is going to move if this doesn't move. So it's a very good point. And now finally going into I think we have a couple of minutes for questions here, and we have here a question which goes to job site safety as related to perception and realities of mostly male sites being hostile toward women as a detractor to women joining trades. I don't know if this is a question from Robin. I don't know if maybe Sarah, you'd have a particular comment on that.
So let me make sure that I'm understanding the question. So if the job site's being tailored towards men, if it's a detractor for women coming in, sure.
Yeah.
Of course it is. However, I think, again, my last project I had at a general contractor, we had 70 electricians on at one point in time. And of the 70, we had 20 women. And so things changed, right? Like quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And so we, I think as more women get into the industry, the face of the job site is going to change. That doesn't mean that it's easy for the ones that are on the front end of things. However, there's always trailblazers, and that's just what we have to do. So we just have to keep singing the praises and having, and then also creating, spaces within the job sites to, for inclusivity. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, no, very interesting. And here actually there's another very interesting question, which goes as, what would be the biggest advice when it comes to women considering becoming a mother, but holding back from career? This is the first part. And the second is to young mother withdrawing in mom's guilt while managing a career and a baby. I guess there's a question for both of you if you have anything in mind.
Yeah, Allison, do you want to take that?
Sure. So I've got a 4-month-old that I can hear screaming in the other room. So this is something very near and dear to my heart. I came back from maternity leave 3 weeks before we went on lockdown in the UK. So then I was at home, the nursery closed, and then it was my husband and I juggling our 6-month-old. So specifically tackling the second part of the question, I don't know if mom guilt ever goes away. I think, Sarah, you're the voice of experience, as you said, with 3. But I think we do with that what we do with the rest of our lives. And this goes for everyone. You just do the best you can. And I know that I cannot bring the best part of me to my son without having my job. I love it. So it would not be, I wouldn't be being my authentic self if I gave that up because I felt guilty that I had to spend all of my time with him. What I've done instead is I'm balancing it. So I get some good quality time with him. I found a place that takes care of him during the day when I'm working, that my husband and I love. We split duty on all kinds of stuff. And it works. And it's never going to be, there's only 24 hours in the day. And so with every aspect and every element of life, just doing the best that I can. And I'm just, sorry, quickly on that first one.
Sure.
Considering becoming a mother, but holding back for your career, I would say think 20 years ahead and what's going to be more important to you, or 5 years ahead or 10 years ahead. I wouldn't, if you think that having a baby is going to hold you back from your career, then you're probably working in the wrong place. Find somewhere else. I think find somewhere that keeps that's good. Everyone's going to be fine with that.
Yeah, I would also say you can't have it all. I really hate whoever put that out there. You can have pretty good everywhere, and that's okay. And you got to get used to that. It's just and your kids will respect you. My oldest now is 11, and she loves the fact that her mom is a powerful woman within the industry. She is so proud of me. And yes, there's sacrifices, but guess what? She's going to be stronger because I'm showing her how to be a strong woman. So you can't have it all, but have as much as you possibly can everywhere in your life. Amen.
Yeah, it's a very interesting. Yeah, I mean, thanks again to both of you. We're running a little bit late, so we'll have to wrap up, unfortunately, the panel. But Sarah, Alison, great having you on board. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure that the public as well, the audience as well. So thank you very much. And maybe I just end on that, which is the motto of the Women International Day of this year, which was "I am Generation Equality." Now, and I think this can be applied to everything. So I think this is definitely something to keep in mind. And finally, here I hand over the microphone to Marcelino, who's going to kick off our innovation section. Thank you. Marcelino, up to you.
Awesome, Simone. Great insights in the beginning. And Allison and Sarah, honestly, really gave me chills listening to all of that. Growing up in a household with my mom and my 3 sisters, I got to say, powerful women. But really, thank you all for your time and really getting this event started. I think real estate and construction are kind of like in the back end when it comes to innovation. So a lot of people are more, with mobility, IoT. Fintech is always innovating, obviously, but real estate and construction, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening. So we're really excited to kick this off. Once again, welcome to the Winter Summit of 2020. As Simone said, my name is Marcelino. I'm his colleague on the venture side. And I will be the moderator for introducing our startups from our batch 6, as well as moderating the Q&A panel or the roundtable that'll happen after the pitches. So remember to note down some questions so we can have some interesting conversations. So without further ado, we have Contilio. They have created an AI analytics platform empowering the construction industry to improve project performance and enable real-time payments. Contilio, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining, and I'm here to present Contilio as part of the PNP Winter Summit. Contilio is the world's first 3D AI engine, and we provide actionable intelligence from site data in real time, enabling huge savings and, in the future, automated payments for the $12 trillion construction industry. We've already been recognized as one of Europe's leaders in construction AI, And my name is Jack Lee, and I lead business development and partnerships for the company. So quickly, why do construction companies use Contilio? There are several reasons, but at its core, all of our customers are looking for a standardized, transparent, and scalable way to track progress and quality, to track the work of their subs, to have a better understanding between different stakeholders of what's happening on the site, thereby reducing delivery costs and risks and helping them to bridge the overall labor shortage gap within the industry. How it works is simple and takes 3 steps. First is data collection done by our customers or by our third-party data capture partners. Contilio itself, we're a pure software company and we don't get involved in data collection. But what we do is take that data and process and analyze it. Our construction 3D AI platform automatically detects all construction elements, structural, architectural services, etc., and turns that data model into something that's with meaning. It then compares that information to the BIM and to the schedule and reports back via a cloud-based dashboard accessible 24/7 from anywhere in the world. But we are not just a data visualization company, unlike many other offerings in the market. We are providing real insights that are determined by the AI in a fully automated way. We do offer visual progress levels of capability and analytics through our Contilio 360 platform, but our flagship offering is the 3D AI. We've already proven this with some global customers. Here's a case study with an asset owner, and they're a world's top 3 digital inspection company. We helped them with their Asia Pacific headquarters already. It was a $100 million office building and labs. We significantly reduced their cost of rework and the man hours required to track progress and quality, and gave them a structured and analytics-ready digital twin that they could use into operations for them. In terms of fundraising, right now we're raising a £2 to £3 million seed round, giving us an 18 to 24-month runway, allowing us to advance our tech and product, hire the people that we need, convert the customers that are already within our pipeline, enable us to have a successful US entry, and get us ready for a nice £10 million Series A. So thanks very much for your time, and I'm looking to answer any questions that you may have. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jack. And up next, we have DataArrows, a platform that uses AI and 3D modeling to optimize operations in a building. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. I'm Isa Ramaji, CEO and co-founder of DataArrows. Energy used for conditioned spaces in commercial buildings represent about 55% of consumption. Studies have shown about 30% of this energy is being wasted. An example is overheating or overcooling spaces, which not only waste energy, but also makes occupants uncomfortable. In addition to wasting energy, indoor air quality has also significant impact on our productivity and performance in our daily activities. For example, we lose about 25% of our performance at the upper limit of the safe CO2 range. Indoor air condition has also a direct impact on our health. An example is the spread of COVID-19 through air. You will be surprised by this statistic. More than 90% of buildings in the US has at least one of their indoor air quality factors out of the safe range. Our company provides solution to the following need: creating healthier indoor space in commercial buildings with minimum energy consumption. Our solution integrates BIM with IoT, and it creates digital twin of buildings, and then use AI to achieve a true smart building that can operate autonomously. We use AI to assess indoor air condition and occupant preferences, and then use it to optimize operation of building systems for maximizing indoor air quality and minimizing energy consumption. Our solution saves energy by up to 30%, enhances health and safety of occupants, boosts productivity and performance of occupants by providing better indoor air condition, and reduces reaction time in unsafe situations. Our solution is called TwinUp, and it has several competitive advantages. It centralizes data in a cloud-based platform and shows latest status of buildings in real time, which can be accessed through phones, tablets, and computers. TwinUp creates digital twin of buildings in a BIM-based 3D environment for faster and more efficient representation of information. It monitors facilities 24/7 and sends notifications if anything goes wrong. It is also technology agnostic. It allows it to connect with a wide range of devices and building systems already exist in the industry. Our product have many use cases and can be used in small buildings like offices and as well as large buildings such as airports and hospitals. Currently, we have customers in these 4 markets: schools, healthcare, offices, and construction projects. We have also created traction in helping schools and businesses to reopen. We help them to create healthy and safe indoor condition that is aligned with WHO, CDC, and ASHRAE guidelines. Both founders of DataArrows have PhD in building engineering. We benefit from a very strong advisory board, including Dr. John Messner, the president of the US National BIM Standard. Join us and let us tune up your building.
Awesome, Isa. Thank you so much. Love the enthusiasm there. Up next, we have Constru. Constru is offering construction sites the ability to have continuous inspection and progress tracking throughout a construction project. Constru, the floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Michael Sasson. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Constru. We are here to reshape the construction industry and build it on data. Constru's vision is to index and analyze the construction process and bring useful insights to the ecosystem. With offices in New York, Tel Aviv, and Belgrade, Constru is already deployed with customers in 7 countries and over 1 million square feet of construction projects. Our patented, groundbreaking computer vision technology is taking over the most time-consuming, humanly challenging tasks and provides the force multiplier for the on-site teams today. With a strong founding team from computer vision and civil engineering, Constru is also supported by leading investors and industry leaders. So, it all started 3 years ago when Shalom and I got our MBA together. We were talking about the problems he was having on the construction side as a chief engineer for the major construction company. Together with Ron, we were curious enough and have visited the site to experience the issues ourselves. The reality was shocking. How could this happen that iterative errors were covering the entire building and nobody caught them out earlier? It appeared this is a worldwide issue and nothing was specific enough about Shalom's site. So for us, having a total continuous monitoring was a straightforward solution. But to achieve that, either we cloned thousands of Shaloms to have on-site all the time, or we created the world's first virtual engineer for real-time object detection through computer vision. And we thought, that's probably easier. So we did. We have built Constru, a computer vision platform that analyzes the construction process. The first part, the data acquisition, is done using any off-the-shelf 360 cameras. We then extract the data, identify objects and contextual information, and compare it to the design. The outcome is a reporting system with all the required information regarding the progress of work, installed materials and jobs, quantities, and execution quality. Our customers reporting on the significant value the system provides through the insights generated early enough in the process. And it all helps them to lower risks, streamline processes, and achieve superior quality. The platform is provided to the owners and contractors with a monthly fee calculated per square feet of construction. And we are directly targeting Tier 1 owners and contractors in diverse markets. As a future directions, we are seeing substantial benefits of the data to the wider ecosystem, such as property management, insurance, and banking. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Love those images and those videos. Now, next we have Dabbel, an AI autonomous solution that fully manages a building's control system and empowering the building to be energy efficient. The floor is yours.
Hello everyone, my name is Nico and I'm today going to present you the next generation of building management systems. It is not only a concept, it is already a reality. Let me put you a little bit in context. Worldwide, we have over 62 billion square meters of commercial building space that is already equipped with a central building management system, and a central building management system is controlling more than 75% of total energy consumption. Technical building operators have a big problem, as they do not only control one building, they control thousands of buildings, and every single building produces thousands of variables per minute. And all these variables are 100% under human control, making it impossible to control all these variables. So what are the consequences? High operating costs, over 40% in energy wasted, and unnecessary CO2 emissions. What do we do to solve this problem? We replace the human brain of the technical building operator with a software that takes all variables into account and takes appropriate control decisions based on these variables. The software is iterative and speaks the language of your building. With this approach, we can achieve up to 40% in energy savings, we can eliminate up to 80% of human control error, and most important, our software is self-learning, self-adapting. Means our software speaks the language of your building and adapts to it every single day. With this approach, as I said in the beginning, it's not only a concept, it is already a reality. Here we can see a quote of one of our clients where we were able to achieve up to 35% in energy savings. Our business model is really simple. So it's a SaaS model, no upfront costs, remote implementation in less than 1 week, and you pay only after we validated our results. With this business model, we can operate worldwide. As I said in the beginning, not only here in Germany or in Europe, also in New Zealand, in China, in the US, and any other country. Our mission in the next 4 years is to capture 0.16% of this market share. And here you can see some of our partners and awards that we were winning in the last years. And they share our common vision of the future in which the buildings take care of the people and not the other way around. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Now, before we go ahead and get started with the Q&A panel discussion, we'll have our final starter pitching for this session, SlatPlanner, an intuitive hybrid physical and digital solution for project planning, allowing the transition to a digital a lot smoother for the construction workforce. Go ahead and take it away, SlatPlanner.
Hi, this is Steve Moore, the inventor of SlatPlanner, a hybrid solution that combines physical and digital planning. Lean practices are continuing to spread across construction. They're very effective and very messy. With SlatPlanner, this process is taken partly digitally. Foremen can create tasks on their phones quicker than they can handwrite them. A user simply clicks print, and all the tasks come out of a printer, fully formatted and color-coded. SlatPlanner facilitates highly engaging scheduling sessions. The entire plan can be laid out on one wall. It brings all stakeholders together on one page. Once the plan has been established, one user pulls out their phone and scans the wall to digitize it using these QR codes. A digital copy of the plan is instantly created in the cloud. It can be viewed in multiple formats and is available to all stakeholders, including remote users, on any device. At the end of each week, the team simply slides the activities to update the plan and record actuals. Then the wall is rescanned. SlatPlanner automatically tracks schedule performance metrics. It shows your trending reasons for delay in both area graphs and pie charts. It automatically tracks schedule reliability trends through PPC and shows you planned versus actual progress curves. These metrics can be filtered by area, discipline, or other variables for more granular analysis. It even shows you a manpower histogram stacked by trade, all from your simple and intuitive wall plan. I wanted to give you a sneak peek at a new wall system being developed. It ships in a small box and attaches to the wall using command strips. No tools required. It uses regular paper from your printer, eliminating the need for stickers and supplies, making the process even faster and simpler. The entire wall can be shifted each week for added convenience. This system will be available soon. SlatPlanner has many other potential applications outside of construction, including fabrication shops, proposal planning, people resource planning, events, product planning, almost any type of project can be planned using SlatPlanner. SlatPlanner is currently in beta and has many large beta projects across the US and Canada. We're currently funded by Robinson Morton, a large general contractor, and are open to investment, partnerships, and other options. For more information on SlatPlanner, visit the links below. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. Alrighty, we're going to go ahead and kick it off with our first roundtable. We'll give it a few minutes to wait for our startups to join. All right, looks like we have Steve, Michael, Isa. Looks like everybody's here. All right, let me wait one more second just to make sure. And Ohad's here. Okay, perfect. All righty, guys. Thank you so much for pitching. We really appreciate your time. I know with the different time zones, it can be a little challenging. So let's hope we have a very interactive Q&A going. I think what I want to kick it off with, and it relates to COVID. And obviously, you know, we've seen a lot of webinars, but I'd love to hear from you guys. With everything kind of going virtual and seeing different solutions, most importantly, at least in the construction field, I think, Jack, maybe you could start us off. But how do you see, at least Contilio, you know, I guess impacting the post-COVID world? Like, do you think, you know, virtual or this digital, digital way of doing business is going to continue? Do you think it's going to slow down? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks, Marcelino, and hi, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well, having a good day. From my perspective, I think, you know, it is very similar to lots of different industry that have been impacted by COVID. Construction, a little bit different, where it's seen as one of those essential industries, right? We still need buildings, we still need homes, and people, and we still need infrastructure to be built. And so, unlike some industries that are still really suffering, I think what we've seen, and you know what everyone else probably on this call has seen, is that construction may have had an initial dip as every company had to reevaluate, you know, in the face of this pandemic. But then soon after, you know, the activity at least really started to pick up, and by, you know, the summertime, you know, our customers and the industry that we were speaking with, they were getting back to 85% of their original activity, and they're continuing to do so. So part of the way that they've been able to do that has been, I think, what I've seen has been this big push into digital technology, and in particular, ways that they could improve productivity in a remote way. So obviously, with social distancing, with PPE, the more that they could guarantee or ensure the safety of their staff, the more interested they would be in these solutions. And I think from our side, at least, you know, our model has always been about automating some of the processes around tracking progress and installation quality. And so our big selling point to them is to say, you will need fewer people to do these tasks in the future. And so instead of having a team of people on site, maybe you just need one person. Instead of going every week, maybe you go every 2 weeks. And these all together contribute to sort of a safer way to deliver their targets, and they still need to deliver, and that's the key thing. From what I've seen, the industry seems to have gotten a bit of a push from COVID, and we're seeing a lot more uptick in terms of business opportunities.
Yeah, no. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, obviously, I think COVID has definitely incentivized a lot of different industries to either, you know, virtualize or digitize. So really quickly, Michael, on the Constru side, I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, obviously, kind of being in a very similar space, you know, how do you see Constru either right now during COVID and even, you know, most importantly, you know, in a post-COVID environment, which hopefully we see in 2021. But what are your thoughts in terms of Constru?
Yeah. So thanks for the opportunity to speak now. So basically, we are trying to digitize the process, and we are bringing this amazing amount of information about the project, very reliable and very detailed information. So in terms of COVID, we definitely see a dramatic change in terms of perception and how the construction companies are actually looking at the technology in general and specific technology that we are providing in specific. So I think COVID definitely helped us to bring this technology into the market. Our customers are suffering from delays already because of the lockdown, and the risk of associated with the project is getting higher and higher. And so they are looking for the solutions, and it looks like some of the solutions and specifically our solution can really help them. For the post-COVID, it's already, it's a done deal. Once they are there, they will never go back. So that's the beauty. And I think there are several things that are happening now. And I think definitely the productivity and profitability and lots of discrepancies that I also mentioned in my pitch. Everything was known, but it was like, we can still do the job as we did for 50, 100 years. Nothing changed. And the COVID did something very specific here. It was an urgency for change. So now it's something completely different, and I think it's a great push for the digitization and adoption of the technologies.
No, thank you. I mean, I totally agree. I feel once some of these either smaller or large companies realize that the potential, hopefully they stick to the new tools and new technology, and don't decide to kind of go back to the way it was before, maybe because it was simpler, or maybe that's what they used to be comfortable with. But and now I think Abel, from your side, really quickly, from Dabbel's perspective, obviously there's some similarities, some differences, and I think overall, I think the digitization, I think is a key word here. But what are your thoughts, during COVID and post-COVID? I mean, I can only assume it's somewhat similar, but what are your thoughts, Abel?
Yeah, thank you for being today here. Yeah, I think I joined the opinions from Michael and from Jack. So it was a big push for the market, a positive one, even if the situation not for everyone is good. But in our case, it was something necessary. It will change a lot of things in the real estate, and also it will help to reduce the CO2 emissions that are very, very important in the real estate market. From our part, in our business, we make everything remotely, so we don't have to install anything. Actually, we have the companies or the clients in 4 continents. So yeah, I would say, what can I say? Hopefully, continue disrupting and moving forward, and they can really work together. Let's say, innovative companies and real estate and construction companies to continue moving this forward.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. I mean, I'm hoping for the best, and hopefully, to all of you, the best of luck. I think to kind of turn it a little bit, Isa, from more of a real estate perspective, how we've seen some impacts, obviously, in different industries, and I want to say maybe in the beginning of COVID, real estate was definitely having some challenges in terms of commercial, at least with offices and whatnot. But from your perspective, maybe with some of the customers that you've worked with, what are your thoughts, and how do you see DataArrows being successful right now, and then obviously in a post-COVID world?
Yeah, so yeah, it hit our industry definitely, so we released our product at the beginning of the year, like in January, and then the COVID hit. So we had made some traction for doing some kind of pilot projects, or doing or kind of we were negotiating a few paid projects, but when COVID hit, it just shut down everything. No one was interested in investing in technologies in their properties. So, but after a while, we saw that the real estate industry realized a new need, and that's kind of making sure the facility is running safe and healthy. So, I mean, a lot of other kind of things that the industry was exploring shut down, but they started to kind of pay attention to new needs. So, and then after a while, it slowed down us, but after a while, we receive a lot of interest in our product to kind of help businesses to reopen. And I would say, I mean, yes, COVID changes things, but I think it just changes the needs of the industry. It doesn't eliminate all the needs. It just changes the needs. It just kind of one technology is to pay attention to the things that were not important before. Now it's getting important. So one of the things that kind of was interesting to me was for years, everybody was paying attention to energy. A lot of technologies were trying to minimize kind of energy, optimize the operation of buildings for minimizing energy consumption, and nobody was paying attention to indoor air quality, one of the things that we are working on. Now, this thing happened, and then now people are sacrificing energy consumption for air quality, like they're opening windows, they are just increasing the ventilation rate, just ignore how much energy is being wasted, but just want to optimize the operation for indoor air quality and health. So that was an interesting shift in industry. So still they want to optimize, still they want to make sure that the building is operating okay, fine, but the criteria is changed. And I think, I mean, definitely technology need to be incorporated in the real estate industry more and more. It's just the needs that these technologies are addressing are kind of changed, and then all technologies should adopt with that. That would be my comment on this COVID.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean that's really interesting to think. Obviously there must have been a lot of sacrifices, right? Companies trying to get employees back into the office, and personally, I hadn't even thought about that, and it makes sense, right? They're going to sacrifice maybe a little bit more energy to keep the employees safe and healthy. So there's got to be ways to kind of like, kind of have in hand, and balance it out. But no, thank you for those insights. And really quickly, while we have a couple minutes, Steve, this one's actually for you. And I think I would definitely want to learn your take on obviously the current and post-COVID, if at least a minute or two. And then there's actually a question that came in that's kind of like, why does SlatPlanner, or why the main focus on construction, and if SlatPlanner will potentially consider having any use cases outside of the construction industry. So in whichever order you want to answer those.
Yeah, perfect. I'll go in the order you asked them there. So first off, I am in the construction industry. I'm a planning manager, build hospitals and build a lot of big facilities. And during the COVID era, a lot of projects just halted or paused or took time out. But we still need our buildings, and we still have to be present to build those buildings. We have shifted some of the ways that we manage the projects. With more remote meetings, remote users. Like I'm in a tree house in Alabama managing hospital projects. And so some of that has shifted to where now we want to take some of our meetings remote, and SlatPlanner enables the workers on site to still plan how they normally plan, but now all the output is available to users outside of that, from remote locations. So I guess that kind of answered the question too, that SlatPlanner has focused mainly on construction because that's my area of expertise. But I've definitely had other manufacturers and fab shops reach out to me, and that's basically untapped market that I'd love to check out, love to get into. So there's no reasons we haven't, but the main reason I have focused on construction is the fact that that's the industry I'm in.
That makes sense. And what about like you said, it's an untapped market, right? So like if it's a solution that can be cross vertical with different industries, I mean, definitely down the road, I think you can definitely see some potential there. But what about with like you said, obviously doing things more remotely now, and there's construction has been done pretty much in the same way for the past couple decades, and we're seeing a bunch of more solutions, technologies, kind of like changing that, and it's a very slow progress. But in terms of SlatPlanner, how do you see the post-COVID, companies, at least or GCs, for example, wanting to innovate and use a solution such as SlatPlanner?
So it's kind of interesting. We have swung the same hammers, for over 100 years, using the same type of tools, and our techniques are very similar, haven't changed much. With the physical construction, I do see a revolution coming. There's a lot of wonderful startups that are starting to really automate, through robotics and other type of like physical on-site construction methods that are going to reduce the number of people required to build a project. And we're just reaching that point right now where it's just becoming effective enough to where the investments are becoming worthwhile to get into those things. And, I ultimately see, I see more of a trend of that, more people offsite doing the work. Also, offsite construction is becoming much more common. And I see that's going to really ramp up over these coming years. Yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't agree more. Definitely looking forward to seeing what's to come in the upcoming years. So thank you all for answering those questions, and we really appreciate your time. And obviously there'll be more time for questions during the networking later. So with that, that's a wrap for this session. We will go ahead and get started with the next set of startups that we have. And then we will also have another little roundtable Q&A as well. So to get us started here, we have Staytion. They are redefining the living experience by deploying AI and AR technologies to introduce new work, play, and health and wellness experience at home. Staytion, the screen is yours.
Hi, everyone. I'm Arif, founder of Staytion, a company focused on reimagining the living experience. My co-founder, Raj Sodhi, and I started with a very simple premise, that the way people live and the way that they find places to live in hadn't changed in more than 50 years. We've set out to fix that. Think about it. The world is changing, but the housing market hasn't kept up. More and more, people want the ability to move around, to experience different cities, different neighborhoods, even different cultures. And that's been added to by COVID and the increasing work from home environment. Staytion allows people to do just that. Essentially, we offer people a new way to stay. We combine beautifully designed spaces, in the most desirable locations around the world, with a fully tech-enabled service, offering people the comfort and familiarity of home, along with the luxury and experience of a hotel. In essence, instead of signing a 12-month lease with a landlord and signing up for a 12-month cable contract and investing capital towards furnishings, we say that you can now sign a membership agreement with us, which gives you access to our portfolio of properties all around the country and the world, allowing you to experience all kinds of different things. How we do that is by finding entire apartment buildings in the best neighborhoods around the world. We then transform those apartments into beautifully designed spaces, fully furnishing and equipping them, taking care of everything from your utility bills down to the cutlery in your kitchen cabinet. We provide common areas for residents to work, relax, and socialize in, and we add on a tech-enabled concierge so that you can use it for anything from booking a dog walker through to booking a table at your favorite restaurant around the corner. How we do this is by leveraging technology at every step. We use data points to model demand and payback periods to find the best possible locations. We build out our apartments using furnishings from directly sourced manufacturers. We use online marketplaces to reach guests while building direct booking channels. And we use our proprietary software to provide a great guest experience while minimizing our operational experiences. A lot of people ask us about supply. How will we get these buildings? Well, the value proposition that we offer landlords is extraordinary. We offer them the ability to have a single tenant instead of dealing with multiple tenants. We offer them a profit share, a long-term commitment, capital investment, and ongoing maintenance, all of which ensures that we have a steady supply of properties. From a growth perspective, we'll be starting off with 10 this year, but we expect this to be 25,000 by the end of 2024. Our ask is we're looking for $3 million to capture this $1 trillion rental market sector. This will allow us to build and grow our business to 215 units by the end of next year, generating revenue of $3.1 million on a cash flow positive basis. What we're offering you is an opportunity to get in early with a company that has a unique vision, strategy, and product, and which is ideally positioned to scale up and capture a significant portion of this fast-growing sector. Thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Arif. Good stuff there. So up next, we have BuildUp, the ultimate cross-language solution to deal with punch listing and task management on a construction site. BuildUp, the mic is all yours.
Hi, my name is Stephen Haskin. I am the CEO and founder of BuildUp. BuildUp is an extremely easy to use task management and collaboration tool for punch list and inspections to help with ground up construction projects, renovation projects, and for property management and maintenance operations. Traditionally, this process has been handled primarily by pen and paper, Excel spreadsheets, and is a very antiquated, tedious process. So we created BuildUp to help streamline this process so that everybody is on the same page at the same time. And so whatever the project type is, you're constantly going back and forth between the owners, developers, third-party consultants, GCs/property managers, and subcontractors saying, hey, I need this fixed, I need this changed, I need this done differently, etc. And so BuildUp makes it as easy as possible to assign somebody a task with a photo, description, and due date, where we take care of all the follow-up and reporting so that everybody is on the same page at the same time. And so we, again, keep it as simple as possible to use by using icons for tasks. You can draw on the photo and use your finger like blue tape. You can do speech to text, go back and forth with comments all related to the same task, preload your checklist and inspection items, as well as the system automatically translates between English and Spanish. So you can use the system in either language and everybody can still be on the same page. Here, we are currently working around the US and internationally with some of the largest developers and general contractors in North America, working worldwide with Greystar, national with Avalon Bay, as well as with Hensel Phelps, Barton Mallow, Whiting Turner, and a few others. Here, from some of our customers, BuildUp really helps save time and improve the quality of work throughout the length of construction. For example, we did a project with one of our customers, Corrigan Group out of New York, who found that they were able to save about 50% of their time daily by using BuildUp, as well as did another project with one of our other customers, Mill Creek, down in South Florida, where they were able to get the number of open items from owner's walk at final closeout from about 30 on average down to 3, delivering a higher quality of product at the end of development. Here, in addition to construction and renovation project, we also see BuildUp being used for daily COVID-19 employee health check-ins and inspections. We see it used by third-party consultants, construction lenders, insurance agents for tracking, documenting, and holding people accountable throughout the process, as well as for material tracking through delivery and installation here. We are currently raising a pre-seed round of funding, looking to raise a total of $500,000 to help build for scalability and really take BuildUp into the next phase as a company. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stephen. So up next, we have Gleensite. They have developed a predictive analytics mapping solution leveraging big data and AI to improve decision-making within the real estate industry. Gleensite, the mic is all yours.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having us. I'm Alex, co-founder of Gleensite. Along with my partners, Daniel and Nacho, we're looking to solve one of the most basic yet complex problems of all, making the right choice at the right time. Our core team always understood the difficulty organizations and individuals face to find all the information, list all the options, and evaluate all the potential consequences when making a decision. So, with our passion for technology and science, we decided to put our heads together to work on this challenge, with a deep conviction that while it's not possible to predict the future with absolute certainty, it is possible to envision the most likely future state by carefully looking at the past to determine the potential cause of each state and therefore improving future decision-making. That's how Gleensite was born. We develop self-service predictive analytics mapping software, which collects and transforms massive amounts of geospatial datasets, both public and private, and allows you to upload your own data. It then applies adaptive and moldable predictive models using machine learning algorithms to then display the insights by likelihood of occurrence on a personalized and real-time mapping interface. Our ambition is to rethink the way we consume analytical services. We believe it's currently too tedious and reserved to experts. We want to provide a user-friendly, immersive, and personalized interface that our community will love, No code, no complexities, just a simple request to get an actionable insights on a spatial temporal framework. The applications are released across all sectors, from healthcare to prevent future pandemics to smart cities to reduce criminality. For instance, we are helping currently real estate players identify opportunities, prioritize investments, reveal hidden risk factors, or visualize how a country, city, or street may evolve in the next years, showing the big picture while keeping the details. Our pricing model is based on usage and divided in tiers, and we are already working with some big players. For the past year and a half, we have been following our roadmap and achieving our goals. And now, as part of the next phase, we are now looking to work with more clients and find investors that can help us take Gleensite to the next level. Thank you all.
Awesome. Alex, thank you so much for that. And then up next, we have Buildout, a platform allowing a new and improved way for workers to communicate on a construction site. Buildout, please take it away.
Hello, everyone. My name is Max Karionov. I'm a founder of Buildout.ai. Before we start, let me show you our vision of construction. We consider construction in two aspects. First, collaboration is always about remote project teams and construction site. And second, construction is always a collaboration of many stakeholders, such as contractors, architects, engineers, owners. Now we're witnesses of rapid growth of remote collaboration tools. As you can see, Slack and Microsoft Teams shows the sharpest growth in B2B in history over the last 3 years, more than 8 times, and they have multiple growths in COVID pandemic. And we consider Slack and Microsoft Teams as a new opportunity to increase efficiency of construction project. What is our solution? The Team Messenger are becoming a communication hub for all construction projects. Everyone works in single workspace, and powerful Slack and Teams environment helps to collaborate, discuss various project details such as task RFIs, change orders. And Slack and Teams API allows connecting construction software and third-party systems, for example, drones, fleet, and staff tracking system. How it works? We create API integration with construction PM and other systems, and Slack and Teams allows creating, resolving, and replying to construction items right within messengers. This speeds up projects. Team members can easily discuss and clarify items in single workspace and see all changes to make decisions faster. When all project members work in single workspace, Buildout, on the one hand, has access to various construction systems, and on the other hand, to all communication related to construction items. We can recognize communications in channels, collect data, combine it, and analyze using AI and NLP. As a result, we get much more project analytics, analysis of team members' behavior, and leading indicators of construction projects. What stage are we now? We're supported by Slack and Microsoft Teams. We have MVP, and we placed our app on Procore Marketplace, and we have first trial installations. First of all, we're looking for pilot projects with construction companies and, of course, investors and partners too. So thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So up next, and the last startup for this set of pitches, we have AuditMate. They have created a SaaS platform disrupting the elevator industry by improving management and maintenance with a suite of tools. AuditMate, please take it away for us.
I'm Ashley Wilson, founder and CEO of AuditMate, the first ever building maintenance auditing software that puts property managers in control by prioritizing transparency, fairness, and cost savings. With so much going on in the world right now, getting your money's worth from your building contracts should be automatic. CARE, our elevator and escalator auditing service, audits all maintenance, invoices, proposals, and state compliance, while notifying you anytime action is required. Quickly and painlessly, saving you time and money. Elevator contracts are confusing. It's them, not you. Plus, property managers are not elevator experts and are limited on time. But at AuditMate, we don't actually think that property managers need to be elevator experts. They're already experts at running their business. Similar to TurboTax, you may not be a California tax law expert, but you feel confident and secure making decisions. With AuditMate, we take the mystery out of maintenance contracts so you can review, decide, click, save. AuditMate Care protects not only your time, but also your building's most valuable assets. Lack of proper maintenance can reduce equipment lifespan by 40%. With AuditMate Care, rest easy. We monitor all aspects of your service contract to ensure you are getting what you pay for. If a maintenance visit or state-required test is missed, you're notified immediately and can easily request an update. Plus, we make hard decisions simple. We audit all proposals, invoices, and state compliance, providing you an audit result of valid or invalid, and then walk you through the entire negotiation process, ensuring the best and most fair outcome for the building. AuditMate provides you the transparency you deserve. Our customers are excited. It's so amazing to see their faces light up when they see their portal for the first time. It's a mix of relief and wow, I can finally get the value I'm paying for. Take it from Jason, VP of Property Management, San Francisco JLL, who says, it's almost like an insurance plan for us. There is a need, and elevators need to be managed with technical expertise. And we are not stopping with vertical transportation, quickly moving to HVAC, janitorial, fire service, where all building contracts can be managed on a single platform. So, imagine if managing your elevator contract was the easiest part of your job. But don't just take our word for it. We believe trust is earned. We will happily complete a 1-year analysis showing you the value that you're currently receiving and how AuditMate can give you what you're already paying for. Trust what you audit. Trust transparency.
Fantastic. Ashley, thank you so much for sharing that. So up next, we basically have our Q&A panel discussion with our lovely startups that just presented. So let's give it a couple seconds, make sure we have everybody online and on the call. All right, Max Arif, thank you so much. Let's give it a couple more seconds for Ashley. Let's make sure everybody joins. All right, Ashley, Alex, okay, awesome. I believe we have everybody on here. But all of you, thank you so much for pitching and sharing your amazing solutions and platforms. I think, you know, to kind of get us started, and I want to make sure I give everybody time to kind of share their thoughts here, but the term smart cities has been very prominent, I want to say, the last couple of years. So maybe, Ashley, maybe you can get us started with this one, but, you know, most, I guess, directly to your company, how do you see AuditMate, you know, pushing or kind of like guiding us towards a smart urban reality, if you will, if you want to take a couple minutes to share your thoughts on that.
Yeah, for us in the elevator and escalator industry, I would agree that there's really a lack of education or knowledge in regard to vertical transportation. It's been one of those really niche industries that, you know, property managers and building owners just pay the bill, right? You've always just paid the bill. It's something that you can't really reduce budget in. You don't ever save money in. It's a major safety concern. So for us, it's absolutely, we consider it a smart city solution, but we really feel that we don't need our property managers and building owners to be experts. They just need to be provided with transparent data, right? A part of that smart city is giving all of the information up front, being really transparent and honest, because when people have the information they need, it's simple to make easy decisions.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, definitely transparency is, I would definitely say key, and sometimes things kind of get lost, in different communication platforms, or if it's word of mouth, I mean, people can easily forget, right? So, no, that's interesting. And I think to kind of toss it over to Arif, Staytion is definitely doing something pretty unique in the residential space. How do you see Staytion really tackling the smart cities, I guess the smart cities community or environment? And how would you say that Staytion is getting us closer to a more smart world?
It's a great question, Marcelino. I think with smart cities, we saw Sidewalk Labs in Toronto, and they had this incredible vision for a very intelligent, automated, digitally powered city. But at the heart of that, you had to have a successful community. And I think for all of the technology prowess that they had, they struggled to get the community on board. Because unless you have the actual people that are living there and embracing this, you're not going to make a success of it. And in a way, that's what we're trying to address. We're trying to create this community of people. And we feel that more and more people now want the flexibility to move around. I see that personally with my friends, family, etc. So if we can create that core of a community within smart cities, then I think, you allow the other elements of that to succeed. So that's really where we come in, from providing the physical sort of roof shelter over your head perspective.
Yeah, no. I mean, I totally agree. I think we're definitely seeing kind of like a pivot, and it might be more of a millennial thing, seeing more and more people kind of like entering the workforce that are either younger with a different taste of quality of living. So
in fact, I'll just wrap that up by saying earlier on in the earlier panel session, I think it was Sarah from Starbucks who mentioned that, before, if she was looking to hire someone, that person would have had to be in Seattle. Today, that person could be anywhere.
Yeah.
And that just reflects the market that we're in.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, definitely people looking to live in different areas. And there's so many, I guess, like new innovation hubs, if you will, aside from Silicon Valley, right? We have definitely in Seattle, we're seeing that in Texas and definitely in Chicago as well. So I think to, I guess, pivot it a little bit now, I'd love to hear more from, here, give me a second. Let's see, Alex, I guess from Gleensite perspective, obviously, what you guys have built is definitely big data, right? And it's giving, I think, the real estate industry a better way to work and invest. And obviously we're seeing a lot of, as I said, like new innovation hubs, right? So there's a lot of building going on and whatnot. So from a smart cities perspective, it can, from pre-construction to post-construction, I think smart cities has a lot to do with it. So from Gleensite, what are your thoughts and how do you see Gleensite kind of guiding us to kind of the smart cities environment?
I think, Marcelino, that's right. What we are seeing both directly and indirectly is a transition from reactive to predictive, which means that both companies and public sector are looking to reduce uncertainties or are looking to be able to understand what the consequences or the choices may be going forward, or what all the factors that may affect a certain decision. And so from a smart cities perspective, anything that helps reduce criminality, optimize urbanization, improve energy, and everything that goes around ESG even, which now is heavily important, because of climate change and whatnot, is where we come in and can help them do that analysis of all that data to provide the big picture of how things may play out depending on several factors. So yeah, that's how we are seeing right now the trend or the shift.
Okay, no, definitely great. Thank you. And now I think this might be a bigger pivot now. Max, build out, more of a construction as in like communication, right? I don't know if I could say it's in a way directly related to smart cities, but your software and your tool, what do you see build out, improving in the construction industry? I mean, just in general, the tool, it might be a simple use case, but it's obviously kind of changing the way people work and how they collaborate within the industry. And it definitely, I think, can relate a lot with COVID and how people, kind of work together now. So I mean, if you want to share just a couple thoughts on Buildout and how you guys are kind of, tackling, I guess, like COVID, and then at the same time, revolutionizing, I guess, the construction industry. Oh, Max, I think you're still on mute, Max.
Okay. Hi. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Well, I think what we do is collaboration tool for the construction companies. And of course, the COVID is very, very strong thing that influenced the current situation. Well, what we think that even before COVID, there were a lot of problems with communications, and we just use the situation. We can just improve the situation with our product, and we give opportunity to construction companies how to make a solution within this situation. What we know that some companies started to use some remote collaboration tools even before COVID, but now they have no choices for this. They should do it. It makes sense for them. And COVID just makes this trend stronger. And we just use the situation and offer the product that can easy to collaborate different participants of the construction project, and they can use as video features or channels, communications. And we think it speeds up project, and it's very useful for our companies.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think just a quick question as one. I think Stephen, for BuildUp's perspective, I think I'll let Max answer first, and then I'll let you take it, Stephen. But I think there might be some similarities in terms of collaboration within a construction site. So I'm kind of curious on both of yours. Do you see your tool, being able to be utilized in a different industry? And by that, I mean more like in the industrial, right? So it can be in manufacturing or even in the oil and gas industry, because there's been a lot of similarities in kind of how the industries work. So really quickly, before I let you answer, Stephen, Max, do you see your tool or your platform, being utilized by different companies in a different industrial industry?
Sure, I think, well, on one hand, we have collaboration tools, and on the other hand, we use integration with a different system, which can be connected to a collaboration hub. And it's easy to collect data from different systems, and it's easy to analyze it, and maybe to get some leading indicators of their current situation on construction site or in the other industries. And it helps to connect all communication and all data in one hub, and then we can recognize this information. We can just analyze it, and we can get new features from this and new opportunity for the companies.
Okay. No, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I guess that the integration is what helps out. Stephen, what are your thoughts? And obviously, if you want to share a little bit on, your solution in general within the construction industry, but I think most importantly, I'm pretty sure a lot of companies are kind of curious. Do you see down the road, do you see BuildUp kind of like tackling different industries or different companies that need a similar solution?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good question. So one way that we have seen this, and we've started to see this take place already, is beyond just construction, whether it's ground up or renovation or for value add building, is more into the industrial and material delivery and management space, being able to track the materials and collaborate around the condition, warranty, et cetera, from delivery at the job site through installation and warranty after. Being able to carry that over. And one of the things that's great about BuildUp is not only can the system be used, we like to say it's a punch list process on steroids for the whole length of construction. Yeah. And so not only can you use it for construction, but you can actually sign over locations and end the construction period and officially kick off the warranty and really transition through construction to stabilization and asset management thereafter as well.
Yeah, no, definitely interesting. And I'm sure there's definitely maybe some questions that the audience may have, but I think during the networking session, we'll definitely have more time. So definitely thank you for sharing. And I think just really quickly before wrapping up, and Ashley, this one goes to you actually, with the keynote speakers we had earlier on, I just really quickly would love to kind of get your thoughts on, women within the industry, and most importantly, having, like a CEO title or like a higher executive title, I mean, how do you feel being in the position that you're in? Just really quickly, your thoughts on that.
When I was in the elevator industry, there were definitely very few women. The big four elevator companies are all trying to make a large initiative to get more women into leadership. Yeah. But you need more women in general before you can get women in leadership roles, right? Like actually, helping train those women up and have sponsorships and mentors versus just putting women in leadership right off the bat, right? Like you kind of need to be raised in those industries. But for me as the CEO, it's my team is really diverse. We're about 60% women. So within my team, it feels really normal, and then I go to events like this and I'm like, oh, I'm the only woman on this panel, yeah. right? And that makes it real, I guess, because in my world, in my team, it doesn't feel very different. It's when I go to larger larger events that I really see how much more work there is to be done.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree. And obviously, we're definitely working hard towards, bringing a more diverse group of, entrepreneurs. And obviously that's our goal, right? And it's super exciting. So thank you so much for that. Thank you all for sharing. And the networking that'll happen later on, hopefully there'll be more questions for all of you. So thank you again. So we'll go ahead and wrap this Q&A and we'll go ahead and get started with the next startups. So, up next, we basically have, let me see here. So we have 6 startups that'll wrap up this next set. And I'd love for Voxxlr to kick it off. They're a new lightweight channel to analyze, monitor, and apprehend all types of 3D geospatial information. Voxxlr, please take it away for us.
Hello, I would like to introduce Voxxlr, a cloud platform for 3D content. In a nutshell, Voxxlr allows users to upload geospatial data such as architectural designs, drone maps or laser scans, and then access a visualization as well as productivity tools via a standard web browser. Voxxlr has now been under development for over 5 years while building the cloud infrastructure and perfecting the software required to visualize the data. This goal has now been achieved, and as I speak, you can see recordings of the Voxxlr viewer running in Google Chrome. All the examples shown here at a glimpse are available online in more detail, including thousands of other datasets already uploaded by various users from around the world. Voxxlr is now ready to provide solutions in industries where geospatial data is an integral part of the workflow. The platform has been designed from the ground up to publish a programming interface designed to easily integrate it with existing IT infrastructure and to develop fully customized solutions. In its simplest form, Voxxlr is a cloud storage solution, similar to Dropbox, but specific for geospatial data, where in addition to storing and sharing the original files, you can also access the visualization and analysis tools right inside a browser. This capability alone enables a range of applications in which you need to present this type of content, for example, for marketing purposes, communication, or in training. However, Voxxlr can be much more. Because of the general transition to web technologies, an increasing amount of data about the world is now becoming accessible online. Much, if not most, of that data has a geospatial component to it, which is often best presented within a 3D context. Now, Voxxlr brings this 3D context into the online ecosystem and provides tools to combine it with other data on the web, ranging from IoT sensor platforms to messaging systems. Now, this capability enables an even wider range of applications, and alone we cannot explore the full potential of the platform. It's therefore now time to find partners to build industry-specific solutions. The programming API of Voxxlr is mature, and the content is readily accessible and easily utilized in different web applications. So if you'd like to learn more about Voxxlr, please visit your homepage and explore some of the technology showcases there, or contact me for a live conversation.
Fantastic. Thank you so much there, Yoshin. So up next, we'll take it to Chunker, an on-demand, short-term warehouse marketplace connecting those that need space with those who have an excess of space. Chunker, the mic is all yours.
Hi, I'm Brad Wright, the CEO of Chunker. Chunker's my third startup company, and I know how hard it is to build companies. Every so often, though, you get these breakthroughs that are game changers that really make a big difference in the building of a company. And one of those breakthroughs for us was getting accepted into this plug and play program. It's made a big difference so far in our credibility and the options that we have. And so thank you, Plug and Play. It's been awesome. Another big breakthrough moment came just a couple weeks later after we were announced that we were one of the winners of the Real Estate Technology Awards sponsored by Cretech and JLL. It was huge market validation for Chunker and something that every startup needs. Chunker was started because one of our co-founders was a commercial broker at CBRE who had spent his entire career buying, selling, leasing, and operating warehouses. So he was intimately familiar with the problems of short-term warehousing and also the fact that there was no solution other than brute force. That's a huge problem in a massive industry that Chunker solves. The magic of Airbnb was they took a supply of existing spare bedrooms in your house and made them available in a way that had never been done before. Chunker's doing the exact same thing with underutilized warehouse space on its way to becoming the largest warehouse company in the world without owning a single square foot. Chunker has created a complete platform that's far beyond an MVP that has everything a customer needs. Anybody with underutilized space can list it in minutes. Anybody who needs a warehouse can easily find it wherever they happen to be. And we do the entire deal. We have all of the documents, electronic signatures, and full payment processing. In fact, we've made it so easy. We've done warehouse deals in 15 minutes that used to take months in the old world. Chunker's generating revenue and has done deals with companies like Walmart all the way down. We've also created a robust ecosystem of partners to help us generate space and demand. In fact, we generate so much demand that we can't keep up with it, which is why we're raising money right now to capitalize on that opportunity. One of the innovative things we're doing now to generate space is to turn vacant big box retail into temporary warehouses. We've even partnered with Colliers International, who's going to train all of their retail brokers nationwide, locate on this space for Chunker. We have a fantastic team that I handpicked and recruited and whom I've known and worked with for years and who have all the right skills to build a big company. We're raising $1.5 million to increase our marketing so that we can really penetrate 3 key markets: Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, New Jersey. We'd love to partner with you on building Chunker, so give me a call and let's talk.
Great job there, Brad. Love it. Thank you so much. So next we have AreaScan. They are applying deep machine learning and artificial intelligence to the estimation process of pre-construction takeoff. AreaScan, please give us more information.
Hi, this is Dr. Phil Templeton, the CEO of AreaScan, and I'm pleased to have the opportunity to briefly present to you our value proposition in the construction technology space. We are innovating with deep machine learning and artificial intelligence in the area estimation pre-construction takeoff phase. Imagine having a raster-based 2D blueprint image such as this, and in 60 seconds having a completely vectorized blueprint ready for quality takeoff. That's the value proposition of AreaScan. By using a multi-step, fast, collaborative process with both our deep machine learning engines and the estimator to produce optimal results. The current state of the art is difficult for estimators because they get raster images and have to literally manually draw out areas and polygons and count objects in a very cumbersome, mundane fashion. And the results may take days to weeks to produce output, and it will not be as accurate because no one can focus on this every second of every minute on a plan. There are no machine learning solutions in this industry to address this today. And as you know, the construction industry is one of the largest industries in the world. And this piece of pre-construction estimation is about a $40 billion industry. So it's ripe for disruption. Our process involves taking the blueprint in any format. First, you see here, we identify the boundaries and perimeters and calculate the wall areas and square footage. We identify symbols to identify the individual rooms and objects in the rooms, and it delivers a completely vectorized blueprint as well as a 3D model. We tabulate each object and classify them, and we can produce an Excel spreadsheet export which will list everything in the plan and can tie to pricing schedules so they can prepare a costing schedule. We also prepare a complete JSON payload ready for integration into any other construction software the people may use. The unique value proposition here is we save time, we save money, and we increase accuracy. We have a core team of 36 deep machine learning mathematicians and scientists. Thank you very much for watching our demo. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at phil@areascan.ai. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phil. Definitely a lot more clear going through some of those images. So next we have ARUtility. They are an AR technology allowing visualization of underground utilities. ARUtility, stage is yours.
Hi, my name is Joe Eastman, and I'm the CEO of ARUtility.
Hello, my name is Orlando Chappell, and I'm the COO for ARUtility.
And we're excited to share ARUtility's new technology solution aimed at the architecture, engineering, and construction industry.
So without further ado, let us show you how ARUtility is making augmented reality the new reality for construction.
Augmented reality is a simple concept. Imagine the line of scrimmage and first down lines in football. We do the exact same thing by taking the live camera feed on a device, whether that's on a cell phone or tablet, and overlaying the camera feed with digital information in 3D. Globally, damages to underground assets cost stakeholders around $2 billion per year in direct costs and over $30 billion per year in societal costs, according to the Common Ground Alliance. And that number has been trending up since 2015. Additionally, these damages resulted in over 2,000 injuries and 400 deaths over the last 20 years. By utilizing augmented reality, we can avoid these costly damages by providing contractors and their crews with a constant visual of where assets are located at all times. We can also decrease the time needed to mark and locate utilities in the field by instantly providing a visual. The process now requires that contractors wait over 1 week to start digging. Our main customer personas are public and private utilities. In the US alone, this equates to around 200,000 utilities. Research shows that on average, we can charge around $60,000 per year for each utility that joins our platform. And our solution can be deployed in all international markets without requiring any change to our existing technology. We've identified 3 key categories of the business that we are looking to develop over the next 3 years. When we look at our fundraising, we are actively raising $1 million under a convertible note as part of our seed round. We've recently closed a total of $120,000. We have also soft-circled an additional $200,000 from Red Cedar Ventures, as well as an additional $200,000 from one of our corporate partners. We've currently got multiple pilot programs in the works, and we have a number of other utilities in the pipeline, with that number growing each day. Based on our average licensing cost per meter, these pilot projects will convert to a total of roughly $1 million in revenue. We've got a number of different revenue sources for ARUtility. First and foremost is our direct sales. This is direct licensing fees that we receive from our customers. Depending on the number of customers served, we charge anywhere from 75 cents to $1.25 per meter, and we collect additional revenue from our licensing and reseller agreements. Combined, Orlando and I have over 30 years of utility experience. Our team, including our advisory board, has a deep understanding of the problem we are solving, how our customers operate, and how they make purchasing decisions. We've been intimately involved in the entire project lifecycle from design to construction.
We'd like to thank you for your time for allowing us to share more about ARUtility. Our email addresses can be found below.
Please feel free to reach out at any time to continue the conversation and to learn more.
Fantastic. Thank you both for sharing that. And then up next, we have ArchChat, an innovative platform enabling project collaborators to work remotely on design and construction projects. Everybody, please welcome ArchChat.
I'm Chetan Singh, founder and CEO of ArchChat. ArchChat is the world's first chat platform come marketplace for the design and construction industry. For easier understanding, you may compare ArchChat with Slack. However, what ArchChat does, the Slack does not. Architects, their clients, engineers, contractors, and sellers communicate about projects using email, resulting in slow responses, scattered documents, and communication. Generally, tasks are assigned verbally or through mails, making trackability difficult. For SMEs, getting new business always remain a challenge. ArchChat keeps all collaborators connected through instant chats about each project space. Collaborators can convert any chat into a trackable task. Its marketplace helps collaborators find and collaborate with new product sellers and professionals. ArchChat also creates a global network between manufacturers and their dealers so they remain connected to provide better service to specifiers and buyers. Our competition only makes collaboration possible within internal teams, whereas we bring internal and external project stakeholders, including sellers, together. We have invented a simple way to convert chats to tasks for zero-effort task management. We are the only collaboration platform with a built-in marketplace. ArchChat is on web and mobile. This lets collaborators work from anywhere. Here's a typical example of the type of communications about one project space. All can converse privately or in groups about the same space. By charging less, delivering more, we plan to bring more and more users to the platform. There are over 100 million potential ArchChat users worldwide. We have recently launched ArchChat and have over 6,000 users. Architect finds ArchChat useful to speed up projects. We win users' trust by giving them useful content that teaches how to manage projects better and get new business. We also share 25% of our earnings with users who bring paying users to ArchChat. By conservative estimate, there will be 1.7 million ArchChat users in next 5 years. This will earn us a revenue of $100 million. I hope you like the concept behind ArchChat. Thank you very much.
Great stuff there, Chetan. Thank you so much. Now to wrap up this session, we have TracFlo, an online financial tool developed to help contractors manage project risks with a streamlined, centralized process for tracking time, tickets, and change orders. TracFlo, the mic is all yours.
Hi, I'm Khalid David, founder and CEO of TracFlo, and today I want to talk to you about how we solve a problem called change orders. Now, experienced contractors, they know change orders. Simply put, they're unforeseen changes to the project scope. But what we also know is a concept we call at-risk work. and it's a financial liability created as part of the change order process. And when these financial liabilities get out of control, it can have projects end in lawsuits and many other types of disputes that ultimately need to be settled. And with the global market at $1.4 trillion being spent on construction, and the average contingency budget on a major project between 5 and 10%, that means that in any given year, somewhere between 70 and 140 billion dollars is transacted as a change order and a potential financial risk to that project. And you know the pain points. There's 5 or 6 stakeholders, field staff, office staff, subcontractors, general contractors, all trying to make a decision. So what we did was we wanted to start with the frontline worker, the guys that's on the field, and we replaced that paper process with a digital one. We gave them tools to record video, snap photos, and create voice notes so that they can have a digital record of what was happening. Then we combine that with a complete online approval process so that all the stakeholders can know exactly what's happening and be able to make decisions to protect the financial integrity of the job site. Ultimately, we connected the subcontractor, general contractor, and owner in one central location so that they can stay abreast of what the other person's doing. And what we discovered in that process, that when we capture information from the frontline worker, we can tell you what the union carpenter in Midtown Manhattan makes for working overtime on a weekend and be able to project that risk out to the owner so that they can have a better understanding of what's the coming cost and what decisions can be made to make sure that we're protecting that. And we're using our proprietary data set and machine learning tools to be able to project that risk out. And it has industry proven results. On average, we're able to reduce that at-risk work liability by 10%, reduce approval times by 45 days, and save about 10 hours a week that's normally spent updating Excel logs, going through emails, and trying to aggregate this information so that the project teams can make a decision. And we've been quite busy. We're at the point where we're processing about 500,000 a month in change order transactions. We're on 150 projects throughout the city, and we already have partners with some of the large union contractors here in New York. Companies like Turner Construction, Prince Carpentry, Breeze Demolition, just to name a few. And we are the right team to solve this problem. I started my career in the construction industry, coming from a family of carpenters and then working with a subcontracting firm with my dad and uncle before finally joining a major construction firm where I met my co-founder, Jake. There we built internal software solutions over 3 years, solving problems very similar to this. And with that knowledge, when I went off to MIT, we were able to commercialize the solution to what you see today. So as brilliant as we are, we didn't think of this ourselves. We went out and got real industry experiences before we brought them to market. And I'm here today because our solution continues to grow, and we want to make sure that the major construction conglomerates that's here today has an opportunity to really have new tools, particularly after COVID-19, to manage the financial risk that's created by change orders by capturing all pieces of information from the frontline workers to subcontractors, the approval process to the general contractors, and ultimately be able to predict that risk out so that the owner has a better understanding of what's happening. If that's a problem that you see currently happening in your construction portfolio, please get in touch with us. We'll love to share more with all the things that we're doing at TracFlo. Thank you.
All right, Achille, thank you so much for wrapping this up. Now we have another 15 minutes or so to go through some questions. Please feel free to submit your questions actually in the little Q&A button at the bottom. And let's give it a couple seconds to make sure we have all our speakers joining us. Alrighty, I think for the most part we for the most part, we have everybody. We might be missing Phil from AreaScan, but oh no, there he is. All righty. I think we're ready to go then, to make sure we have enough time for everybody. Well, all of you, thank you so much for pitching and presenting and joining us once again with the different time zones. Really glad you guys can all make it. So to make sure we use up the time as best as possible, I think I want to start off first with the question for Chunker, primarily because of the niche market and the solution that you're offering, Brad. But why don't you? I know you told us kind of how the idea came about, but I'm kind of curious on your thoughts of where do you see Chunker, 5 years from now? Do you see any competition coming up? Is there competition right now that's in any way can interfere with your progress? And a little bit more related to COVID as well, how do you see that impacting Chunker down the road?
I'll start with the competition. We don't have any real competition right now other than the status quo, which I think is always every new technology kind of disruptor competitor, their biggest, strongest competitor. But I fully expect competition down the road, and I think it's healthy to expect it. And the way startups really succeed anyway is to run fast and to always be out there, ahead of their competitors, make the competitors follow them. So they're always behind. But as far as COVID goes, I think that ultimately it's forced people to think different thoughts, and they've had to adapt much faster and change much faster than they would have. And so in a kind of an old stodgy industry, it's been a net positive for Chunker because they've had to look for solutions that they could have found a way around maybe through kind of more traditional methods before. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think it's definitely changed the industry, I think, overall. And I think it's definitely exciting to see where you guys are at right now in terms of traction, and obviously, see where you guys are in the upcoming, year or so. And like you said, it's healthy to understand that there's going to be competition, and I think just, who runs faster at that point. So, no, awesome. I think now to kind of like pivot, I think a little bit more, since we did have some real estate and construction and some of the pitches we heard, let's kind of kick it off with Yoshin, and your perspective with Voxxlr. Obviously, this is a digital tool, and with respect, there's definitely a lot of competition in the construction industry in terms of different tools, whether in design or communicating. How do you see Yoshin, Voxxlr? How do you see Voxxlr standing out from some of the competition? What's your unique, I guess, like your bread and butter?
Okay. Well, one of the key aspects of Voxxlr really is that it's a single cloud platform for multiple different data types. That includes CAD models, laser scans, drone maps, and it provides one place where you can store all this data. It provides you similar tools to work with this data, and it provides you a programming API to extend the visual where you want. So Voxxlr focuses on being a content platform only. And a lot of the competitors, especially the hardware vendors, let's say the laser scanning manufacturers, they make platforms only for their data type. And I think this is a differentiating factor. It's moving forward where an organization, especially in construction, I mean, they have CAD models from the things that they build and design. They have laser scans from on site, and increasingly it looks like they're using drone mapping as well. And right now they have to go to 3 different vendors to get solutions, at least for bringing that data into the browser. I mean, they will never change CAD tools. The established CAD tools already work quite well. But to bring that data into the browser and then build up new web applications on top of that, they have to go to different vendors right now. And this is where Voxxlr, I think, in the future will have an advantage.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense. And, obviously the 4-minute pitch you guys had wasn't, enough time to really give, the full clarity of your products and your solutions and technology that you guys are offering. So Shaitan, this is more for you, with ArchChat in a way being in a similar space. as Voxxlr in terms of, designing and, kind of tackling that aspect of construction. What would you say in a couple sentences makes ArchChat unique and kind of differentiated from some similar, I would say, design and BIM tools?
Thanks, Marcelo. It's, you see, what happens is that there is no platform which is connecting all stakeholders today. So it's not only the construction people or to collaborate, but it is the product manufacturers and product sellers, the client and the engineering teams, the architects, everybody to come together and instantly chat with each other. So that's what we help people doing. It's a very simple solution which comes into everybody's pocket in their mobile phones, and they are able to chat about the project. And not only the chat, but they are able to chat privately with each other, unlike being in a group and then everybody's seeing what being written. Mm-hmm. And the next thing is that, when any chat can be converted to a task, so it becomes very easy to track. And the best part, the unique part of it is that it brings the product sellers on board automatically when their products are selected from the ArchChat marketplace and saved on the project. So the seller automatically jumps into the chat and he's able to start communicating with everybody instantly.
Yeah.
And so the architect can ask him any questions, the client can ask him any questions, they can negotiate, they can customize the products and so on. And another very, very interesting thing here is that ArchChat, everybody can communicate in any language of the world.
Yeah.
So which means that if there are 100 collaborators on a project, then all 100 can speak different languages and still they are able to communicate seamlessly.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely unique, and it's interesting, obviously, with a lot of remote work going on, and obviously maybe some people from different countries. So that's interesting. Now I'll kind of throw this off towards you, Phil, and your perspective with AreaScan. Obviously, once again, it might be a little bit of a niche area with the whole pre-construction and estimation, and obviously there's a lot of, I would assume a lot of you in the construction industry can kind of relate with some of the barriers to entry, but how do you see AreaScan? How do you see the AreaScan solution being implemented? Is it, would you say it's super easy? And do you think that, with obviously COVID and it being a digital tool, do you feel like COVID has incentivized, a lot of GCs to kind of utilize your software?
I would love to answer the second part. Since we're pre-revenue, I can say no, we haven't really done that. The first part, what was the first part?
Oh, you got me there. I think it's just around AreaScan and maybe it being in a niche market. Like, I know there's barriers to entry, but how do you AreaScan tackling that and really taking the market and focusing on the estimation part at least?
Sure. I mean, it's really interesting that the process for this has really not changed, and when we talk to people, they're using the same software they used the last 10 years. However, technology has changed a lot. So we have found no true deep machine learning or artificial intelligence in this pre-estimation phase. And so the estimators that take a blueprint are literally clicking and drawing thousands of vertices per page and calculating areas and counting objects. And if you have a 100-story building, that's a real lot of work.
Yeah.
We've seen estimators take 8 hours to take off one page that we can take off in 2 minutes.
Wow.
Now, we do this in collaboration with the estimator because we don't believe artificial intelligence replaces everything or should be completely automatic. But it's just taking away the mundane, time-consuming task for these estimators, letting them check it and verify, change anything they want very quickly, and then give them the output they need. And then it can move on in any platform. So it doesn't matter which construction program you're using after that. We speed up and power up this front end, and then you can put it through the rest of the program. We're not going to reinvent the whole wheel, but we're going to save a lot of time and money and increase the accuracy in the front end.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think the whole integration and that, I guess that the initial implementation is usually key, and I think kind of showing how easy it is. So now to I guess throw this towards you, Khalid, and TracFlo, in the sense of obviously not the same, solution or tackling the same problem, but in the sense of tackling the whole communication of what TracFlo is doing. So I'm kind of curious, like, what do you see maybe as I don't want to say maybe a barrier to entry, but how do you see TracFlo taking the market with whether there's competition or not, and maybe COVID being a factor of maybe a bit of a progress, but how do you see TracFlo progressing, with you guys being a decently early stage?
Yeah, so there's a couple pieces, kind of like what Phil mentioned, the idea of kind of really bringing deep machine learning tools to a space that normally wasn't really saturated with it. So by capturing changing project costs, we end up capturing we can tell you the difference between a union carpenter on the west side of Manhattan versus the east side of Manhattan. And we can tell you which stakeholders will likely approve a cost and which stakeholders will, always beat your problem down by, 5 or 10%. So we see that there's accounting solutions out there, these traditional kind of on-prem solutions that exist. But now with the advancement of mobile, you're catching the field decision making that ultimately have financial implications that allows you to, what used to have to be a report that goes to accounting for you to be able to make a decision, you're now capturing that information very early in that process and are able to make those financial decisions. And then further, what we're discovering is that, particularly around change orders, the most volatile line item on construction billing, that this is often leading indicators to projects who need access to capital. So a part of our long-term strategy is not only develop machine learning tools around how do we predict as project costs change, but now that we see some of these leading indicators, what type of financial partners are really interested in this information. So whether it's companies that can provide short-term financing, companies that could provide lines of credit to help a lot of these projects transition. And especially COVID was the biggest change order that anyone had seen. Everyone was, all of a sudden caught flat-footed. We've heard companies who ordered equipment, paid for it, it sat on the job site for 3 months, and the equipment company billed them, and they couldn't go to the job site because it was shut down. Who's responsible for paying for the rental equipment that sat for 3 months and they were able to do nothing about it? And how do you manage that process? Because it can have real financial implications. So, so COVID it's sped it up, but I think really it's how do we bring machine learning tools to not just account for cost, but really start being able to predict and see where costs are going. And you only could do that by engaging the mobile aspect of the accounting that happens on site.
Yeah, no, appreciate those words, Khalid. I think definitely, not just having multiple eyes on all this data or this information, but I think a little bit of technology can definitely improve the outcome, and obviously saving cost is key. So really quickly, just we're running out of time here, but Joe, I want to give you the screen and share a little bit about ARUtility in the sense of, it's definitely yet again another niche tool tackling. I want to say maybe not just the construction industry, but obviously oil and gas. But how do customers take it when they when you tell them, hey, you'll be able to see all your assets underground through our mobile tool, if you will. So how are customers or potential customers taking this type of solution?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've received really, positive feedback. There's a lot of benefits really throughout the entire project lifecycle. So we're seeing a lot of different use cases, even, from some of these pilot programs that we've been running. First and foremost, just early on in the project lifecycle, the collaboration platform that we've built is unlike anything else on the industry, in the industry, allowing all the utility stakeholders on that project to just very quickly and easily share their information with one another already provides a lot of benefits. But then being able to actually then have access to that information on our mobile application to then visualize in augmented reality is allowing them to make better, more informed design decisions, even early on in the project. If you're looking for a new water main route and you're looking for conflicts with existing utilities, you're now able to, go out on the construction site and actually see where these things are laid out rather than seeing them on, just a 2D map like we're used to seeing. But even, throughout construction and having that ability to be able to visualize these assets and avoid damages, it's an over $30 billion problem in the US and Canada every single year. And, primarily it's because those markings get removed on a construction site. So just being able to increase that safety and just having such a turnkey integration and solution as well, that's easy to set up, use devices that they're used to using, we're receiving a lot of very positive feedback.
Okay. No, I mean, definitely. I think, like I said, it's definitely a unique, unique solution. And I can only imagine some of the awe that it causes for some potential customers. So unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you all for joining us. Of course, the pitches were quick, the questions were quick, but we do have networking happening in Remo if you guys are ready. And I'm sure there'll be more questions for you guys there. So with all of that being said, amazing entrepreneurs, and thank you all for joining us and pitching. We're going to go ahead and pass it on to a success story from one of our startups, Neurobotx. So I'll let Neurobotx share more about that success story with one of our corporate partners.
Hello, my name is Dana and I am the CEO of Neurobotx, and I would like to congratulate everyone that participated and pitched in this webinar at Plug and Play for real estate and construction. And I would like to briefly present our use cases and our little success story in this field during the lockdown. So the problem that we have all been facing is very obvious. COVID-19 has been a major blow to most industries. And also, of course, it has taken a big emotional toll on all of us, making us concerned about the future and our businesses. But the good thing about all of this is there's actually a silver lining to all of it. Interestingly, the market reports show that the lockdown has actually accelerated the need for real estate and construction companies to replace manual labor with AI and autonomous robotics. This tendency existed before the lockdown, but it has amplified very much as a result. The only stopper for this vision of having smart construction sites operated entirely by AIs and autonomous robots is that current algorithms are not very good at dealing with 3D video data, and especially complex data, including a lot of variables, because they analyze pixels and they analyze every pixel, and they use a lot of human labor for the retraining of algorithms. So if we were to use the traditional algorithms, this would only create an overflow of data and would neither scale nor lead to full autonomy in robotics. So Neurobotx is different. Here you can see the standard and event cameras we use. And if you look at the black dot, you see what the event camera perceives, only the black dot and nothing else. We also perceive no events when there is nothing happening, which is very important because that means the data acquisition stops when nothing is happening. And then finally, when you have very fast events like drilling, with the event camera, you can actually detect that because it works in the microsecond scale. Now, Neurobotx combines these sensor data and then creates an algorithm specifically designed for businesses in construction and real estate to better understand their business model, to understand at the micro scale every process, what is happening, who is involved, at which time. And it makes them able to optimize and save money at every single level, from top-down decisions to bottom-up changes within the corporation. So our solution is obviously customized, but it is also plug and play. So it combines the best of both worlds. We work with Sony company for the event sensors. We work with the CCTV cameras that our clients currently have, which saves them money. And we co-developed the AI and we adapted to each specific use case. And then finally, for the hardware, we work with NVIDIA that produces the chips that are specifically designed for these kind of applications. So this is one case study, and this is where I suppose our success story begins. And this started shortly before the lockdown via plug and play. It's actually quite a funny story because we were in the plug and play mobility vertical, and we thought we would be focusing on cars. But then our pitch was noticed by someone in the plug and play construction department, and then they thought, okay, this would actually apply really well to their field. So what you can see here, now that the video stopped, is the green part. So this would be the cement that was put on. This is for road construction. And then on the left, you can see the red part, and this is the cement that was not put on. And then on the upper right, you can see this progress bar with how much of the process is done. This is just to give a general overview. At the same time, you can see the event camera pixels. So these are just the pixels that encode the movement, and they only appear when there is movement on the side. This is really important because if we want to perceive what is moving here, we can actually dump all the other data. So the building in the back, anything that's not relevant, we can remove that from the beginning, which saves so much space. The estimation of this client is that these improvements could save them up to $100 million per year. This is yet to be proven, of course, and we will need some time to show that we can generate these savings. So this is something that I'd love to test with other partners here. But in short, this is the general idea. So this sounded too good to be true, right? From the beginning. So of course, then the lockdown started, and then all the major businesses were affected, and a lot of corporations had problems coping with that, especially if they had COVID cases on their construction sites, which is very serious. And the legislation that goes with it is also not clear. So we thought, okay, maybe we lose this big contract, but now that we have nothing to do, maybe we can do something for them for free. And so we made this little social distancing tracker, which is quite easy for us. And then you can see the workers that are too close to each other in the green boxes, they would have a pink line between them. And we also are able to do this with cameras that are in different positions, and then we reconstruct the entire space. So this can actually help businesses go back to work and also show to their governments that they make sure that their workers are safe. And we also added a monitor for unsafe areas and also checking if the workers are okay, checking safety equipment and so forth. And interestingly, delivering a free product to a large corporation helped a lot because I find that in times of extreme stress, kindness tends to move the needle quite a lot, and it's unexpected, but I would definitely recommend this strategy also as we get out of the lockdown, because it's the most unintuitive thing to do, but also the most helpful, because then everyone gets liberated from their stalemate position. So back to the product. So Neurobotx is supporting operational change within businesses via 3 products. So just to explain what I showed you, the first product is called NeuroViewer, and what it does is it actually makes a 3D digital twin of any construction site. This is great for 2 things. It's good for the construction industry, of course, because then they can track everything live. It's also good for the real estate industry, especially for the clients that bought, say, an apartment that needs to be built. They would then be able to track everything that's happening live and make modifications if necessary. They could get live updates related to any change, and that might make a lot more people comfortable with buying in advance an apartment that is about to be built. Then NeuroMapper does 3D object detection using also the movement pixels, as I showed you. So it maps all the objects, people, processes inside it. And because we dump so much of the data, we have then a lot more space to perform advanced statistics and provide actionable intelligence to the corporation. And the final step is, let's say we acquire these data for about a year, we can then use all of that to create a customized plan for robotics implementation. So by understanding the processes that are very repetitive for that company specifically, we can then turn those human workers into autonomous robots, and actually generating that trajectory is not a very difficult robotics project, but it is something that we can do. So for construction and real estate specifically, here are some things that we do, not to get too deep into our technology, but rather focus on how we can help. So like I said, we want to enable smart construction sites and warehouses using smart camera, vision, and machine learning. So we do safety and social distancing. As you saw, we do progress and performance tracking. And that's really important because we can identify risks early and tackle them. So including activity tracking, also automating claims, and then smart tracking to monitor the overall progress, vehicle numbers, worker QR codes that they could have on their helmets, equipment tracking, as I showed you, unit production rate, and so forth. Now, there are other companies that might be offering services like this. What is unique to us at this stage is, first of all, we can do a free demo and a site analysis during our smart neuromorphic sensors and show the client directly how much money we would save them. We can make a 3D digital twin of any site. And in the UAE, we are working with another construction company backed by Mubadala, which is called Strata. They use event cameras as well, and we will probably start demoing this soon with them, and then we will be able to share that with you. For manufacturing and defense, CAE, and also Edge. So this is how we sell our product. It's very, very simple. It's a B2B SaaS subscription model. We have enterprise solutions. It comes with 24/7 customer support. It will be completely plug and play. And their customization would correspond to 30 years of world-leading R&D. So this is how our clients know that they're accessing the absolute state-of-the-art in the world. There are a lot of manual computer vision companies that people use, which take a lot of time and money. Then here in the middle, we have the more automatic neuromorphic companies, which are mostly still in the lab and very much in R&D. The most production-ready one is Sony Prophecy that delivers the event cameras that we actually work with. So we are the most automatic software company and the one that's closest to being production-ready at this point, which I believe puts us in a good position to become the market leader by 2023. This is our share of the market, total addressable market, in our first verticals. And if we look at the neuromorphic computing market size, it seems that automotive, military, and defense are some of the main domains, and within the manufacturing is a very big one. So this is my favorite slide of our presentation. It's always the team. So this is me, by the way, on the left. I am the CEO and the founder. I have a PhD and 2 postdocs on neural navigation and imaging systems. I've been optimizing imaging systems for 10 years now and turning them into the most advanced ones on Earth. They will vary anywhere between 300K and 3 million each. And we also work with the world leaders in research and industry via the Human Brain Project and ETH Zurich. We have access to over $2 billion worth of free R&D resources to update the current stacks of our clients. And we are taking a lot of that engineering talent into our company and bringing it also in our different offices around the world. These are current and past accelerators, obviously plug and play, and I'd like to thank them again for this opportunity. We are normally based at Google for Startups in London. We're now in Gotham's, and we're obviously backed by Mubadala. So the VC offer that we have, we're currently closing our seed round. We have one term sheet for £3 million. We're still open for investment partners. Our pipeline is growing fast, and we're trying to hire to keep up. So most aerospace, automotive, and construction corporations. And we also have 26 spatial mapping companies that want to buy our product. And we also have interest in our future Series A from strategic investors like BMW and Airbus. And with this, I would like to thank you very much for your attention. Congratulate everyone again that went through this and through the lockdown successfully. And also, I would be very happy to follow up with any interested clients and investors. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Diana, for the presentation, as it was super interesting to see the cross-industry technology that you guys at Neurobotx are developing. So thanks for that. And on that note, I would like to move on to our final section of the day, the Startup Awards. And obviously, from what you have just seen, all of our startups are working on important pain points in both construction or real estate. And therefore, it was quite tough, actually, to move forward with the nominations. However, we did move forward with the nominations. And I would like to congratulate, as the final recipient of the Construction Tech Startup Award, Constru. Congratulations there, Michael and the team, for the achievements. And now on the real estate side, I have the pleasure to announce that Chunker is this year's Real Estate Technology Award winner, and congrats to Brad and all of his team. And again, both of you guys and both of your teams are definitely pushing the limits forward on how we build and experience our built environment. So congrats on that, kudos on that. But obviously, we had the privilege in the second virtual batch to have a really interesting group of founders. And I really want to thank all of our 16 startups and their respective teams for daring to take the startup journey in the real estate and construction technology, which is definitely not the easiest. However, you guys want to make a change and you're making a change. And we actually really respect that. So congratulations on that as well. And we really hope that you're able to get the maximum out of our program, as we are looking forward to staying in touch with every single one of you and actually remain assured that our plug and play ecosystem will remain open for you as you evolve. So keep that in mind. And of course, other than our precious startups, we have to thank all of our plug and play real estate and construction partners spread across the world, and which were actually playing a role of industry leaders, daring to take the next step and not simply wait for the next normal to happen. But on the contrary, those guys, they dare to create that next normal, which is something actually greatly needed in both construction and real estate. As you have seen today, the technology are available and they're proven. So there's no more reason for our industry to remain behind. And as Darwin says, again, only the species which adapt will strive. And our team is proud to be collaborating with every single one of our partners and playing a role in their success. So congratulations. Last but not least, keep in mind that despite today being almost done, it is only Monday, for the best and for the worst. And accordingly, we still have 3 full days of exciting events focusing on 6 other verticals ahead. So feel free to scan the QR code here down on the screen to know more and perhaps register for the coming session you might find interesting. Now, up next, we will kick off our networking session through our Remo platform. You will find the link in the Zoom chat below, so feel free to just click and join. Our session will be divided, and actually our whole session will be divided into 3 floors, because in Remo you have different floors. So the first floor will be hosting all of the IoT startups. The second floor will be reserved for the real estate and construction startups. And finally, the third floor will be for general networking. And you'll actually be able to move from one floor to the other through the button here on the left of your screen. What we will also recommend is to edit your profile by clicking on your profile button on the top right of your screen and change your full name to company_full name alongside the link to your actually LinkedIn page in order to just foster all of the relevant connection you will be able to make today. And finally, if you have actually any issue, feel free to click on the button up here for your camera and microphone on the top right of your screen. So as you can see, it's quite straightforward, nothing complicated. And on that, I would like to thank again all of our batch 6 startups, all of our real estate and construction corporate partners, our dear mentors, of course, and finally, you, public, from joining in, actually from across the world as well, from the early morning Asia to late Europe, and of course, midday USA. And thank you again for believing in us and joining us today. And I would like to do a final shout out to our colleague, to my colleagues, Marcelino Diaz, Tiffany Long, among the many others behind the successful event. And on that note, without further ado, don't forget to check your chat box and see you on Remo for the networking.